My family deliberately destroyed my scholarship application to keep me from leaving. My parents sabotaged my college scholarship application because they wanted me to stay home and care for my disabled brother instead of pursuing my education. I'm 18, about to graduate high school with a 4.2 GPA. I've been working toward a full scholarship to a university 3 states away. My younger brother Tyler has cerebral palsy and requires significant care. For years, I've been his primary caregiver while my parents work. I don't resent Tyler. He's amazing, and I love him. But I also want a future. The scholarship required an application packet including essays, transcripts, recommendation letters, and a video interview. I spent 6 months preparing. The deadline was March 1st. I gave my completed packet to my mom to mail on February 27th, since I'd be at Tyler's therapy appointments all day. Mid-March, the scholarship committee called. They never received my application. I was devastated. My mom said she definitely mailed it. She showed me a receipt from the post office dated February 27th. I called the post office. They checked their records. The receipt was real, but the package was addressed to my home address, not the scholarship committee. My mom had mailed my application packet to our own house. When I confronted her, she broke down and admitted she did it on purpose. She and my dad decided I couldn't leave because they need me to care for Tyler. We can't afford a caregiver. You're the only one who knows his routines. The scholarship would take you too far away. I was horrified. I'd missed the deadline. The scholarship was gone. My entire future was destroyed because they sabotaged me. I went to my school counselor and explained everything. She contacted the scholarship committee, explained the situation with proof of the misdirected package, and they agreed to extend my deadline. I resubmitted and won the scholarship. But I also reported my parents to social services for educational sabotage and for relying on a minor as Tyler's primary caregiver instead of getting proper support services. Social workers intervened, connected Tyler with professional caregivers, and investigated my parents for preventing my education. Now my parents are furious that I betrayed the family when they just needed help. Was I wrong to report them? After I reported my parents to social services, everything exploded. My dad called me ungrateful. We raised you, fed you, clothed you, and this is how you repay us? By sicking the government on us? You destroyed my scholarship application so I'd be trapped here forever. We needed you. Tyler needs you. Family takes care of family. Family doesn't sabotage each other's futures. My mom cried constantly. I was desperate. We can't manage Tyler's care alone. I made a mistake, but I did it out of love. You didn't make a mistake. You deliberately sabotaged me. You forged a fake mailing receipt. To keep our family together. But it wasn't about family. It was about free labor. They'd been using me as Tyler's caregiver since I was 13, saving thousands on professional care while I sacrificed my childhood, social life, and nearly my future. The social services investigation revealed that Tyler was eligible for state-funded care services they'd never applied for. A caseworker helped them access respite care, in-home nursing, and therapy services that were completely covered. These services have been available the whole time? I asked the social worker. Yes, your parents never applied. They had you instead. The social worker also documented the educational sabotage, my parents admitting they destroyed my scholarship application to keep me home. CPS determined this was a form of abuse, preventing a dependent from accessing education. My parents were required to attend parenting classes and could face charges if they interfered with my education again. Tyler got the professional care he deserved, and I was free to accept my scholarship. My extended family split on the issue. My grandmother supported me. What they did was wrong. You deserve your own life. But my aunts and uncles mostly sided with my parents. They're overwhelmed. They made a desperate choice. You didn't need to involve the government. They sabotaged my entire future. They're your parents. You should have worked it out privately. There's no working out destroyed scholarship applications. My younger cousin told me privately, "I'm glad you reported them. I saw how much you did for Tyler. They were using you." Friends from school were supportive. "Your parents literally stole your future. You had every right to report them." But people at church, where my parents are active members, gave me cold shoulders. My parents told everyone I abandoned the family in their time of need and called CPS over a misunderstanding. The truth, that they deliberately sabotaged my education, got lost in their narrative. I'm now 3 months from leaving for college. My relationship with my parents is destroyed, but I have no regrets. Tyler has better care now with professional caregivers who know what they're doing. He's actually thriving with structured therapy and activities I couldn't provide. My parents still won't admit what they did was wrong. My dad sent an email. "When you're a parent someday, you'll understand making hard choices for family. We did what we thought was necessary." I replied, "Necessary would have been applying for the care services Tyler deserved. Sabotage was criminal." He didn't respond. My mom tries to reconcile. "Can't we move past this? I said I was sorry." "You're not sorry for what you did. You're sorry you got caught and lost your free caregiver." "That's not fair." "You sabotaged my scholarship to trap me. That's not fair." Some people ask if I'm being too harsh. They made a mistake out of desperation. Can't you forgive them? But this wasn't a mistake. They planned it, took my application packet, mailed it to our own address, showed me a fake receipt, watched me grieve my lost scholarship, all while knowing exactly what they'd done. That's not desperation. That's calculated sabotage. Tyler asks me sometimes, "Are you leaving because of me?" "No, buddy. I'm leaving for college because I earned a scholarship. I love you and I'll visit, but I have to live my own life too." "Mom says you're abandoning us." "I'm not abandoning anyone. I'm going to college. That's normal." She cries a lot. "I know, but what happened wasn't your fault and it wasn't mine. Mom and Dad made choices that hurt everyone." I leave for college in August. My parents aren't invited to help me move or attend orientation. They've told relatives they're heartbroken, that I'm cutting them out. But I'm not cutting them out. I'm setting boundaries with people who sabotaged my future. There's a difference. Would I do it again? Report them to social services? Absolutely. Because of my report, Tyler got professional care he deserved. Services were put in place, and I got to keep my scholarship and my future. My parents see me as the villain, but I'm not the one who committed educational sabotage. I'm just the one who refused to let them get away with it. And I'm finally free. My family reported me to ICE, claiming I was an illegal immigrant to stop my wedding. I discovered my parents reported me to immigration authorities with false claims that I was undocumented, causing me to be detained the week before my wedding to prevent me from marrying someone they disapproved of. I'm 23 years old, born in Texas, a U.S. citizen by birth. My fiancé Carlos is from Mexico, here legally on a work visa. We met at university, fell in love, and got engaged last year. Carlos is educated, employed, kind, and perfect for me. My parents hated him from the start, not because of who he is, but because of where he's from. "You can't marry a Mexican," my mother said. "What will people think?" "I love him. His nationality doesn't matter." "It matters to us. We won't accept this marriage." "You don't have a choice. I'm 23 years old." They made their disapproval clear, but I thought they'd eventually accept it. The wedding was scheduled for next month. 2 weeks ago, I was pulled over for a routine traffic stop. The officer ran my license and suddenly I was being detained. "There's a flag in the system. You need to come with me." I was taken to an immigration detention facility. Confused and terrified, I was told there was a report claiming I was an undocumented immigrant using fraudulent documents. "I'm a U.S. citizen. I was born in Texas." "We have a report saying otherwise. We need to verify your status." I spent 3 days in detention while they investigated. My birth certificate, social security card, and passport all confirmed my citizenship. But someone had filed a detailed report claiming I was actually born in Mexico and using stolen identity documents. The report came from my parents. They'd told immigration authorities I was undocumented, provided false evidence that my documents were fraudulent, and claimed I was marrying Carlos specifically for a green card scheme. None of it was true. I'm a citizen. My documents are legitimate. But my parents had filed a false report to immigration, hoping I'd be detained or deported before the wedding. When I was released, I pressed charges for filing false immigration reports and conspiracy. They say I'm overreacting to their concern about immigration fraud, but they knowingly filed false reports. The evidence against my parents was damning. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, provided the full report my parents had filed. It claimed I was born in Mexico, not Texas, despite my birth certificate. My social security card was fraudulent. My passport was obtained through identity theft. I was marrying Carlos solely to help him get a green card. They had evidence I'd admitted to being undocumented. All lies. ICE investigators verified my birth certificate with the Texas Vital Records Office, legitimate. My social security number matched government databases, legitimate. My passport was issued through proper channels, legitimate. The evidence my parents provided? Fabricated documents they'd created to support their false claims. They'd doctored a Mexican birth certificate with my name, forged statements I supposedly made about being undocumented, and created fake correspondence between Carlos and me about green card marriage plans. During my 3-day detention, I missed work, had to cancel wedding vendor meetings, and experienced severe psychological trauma. Being detained as if you're a criminal when you've done nothing wrong is terrifying. Carlos was devastated when he learned what happened. Your parents reported you to immigration to stop our wedding? They wanted me detained or deported before we could marry. But you're a citizen. What did they think would happen? They hoped I'd be deported to Mexico even though I've never lived there, or at least detained long enough to miss the wedding. My parents' defense was protecting the country. We had concerns about immigration fraud. We reported what we believed to be a green card marriage scheme. I'm a U.S. citizen. There was no scheme. We thought your documents were fake. We were trying to prevent fraud. You created fake documents to support false claims. That's fraud. My mother was more honest. We wanted to stop this wedding. If you were detained, you couldn't marry him. So you admitted it was about stopping the wedding, not about immigration concerns? Both. We don't want you marrying a Mexican, and we thought immigration might prevent it. ICE was not pleased. Filing false immigration reports wastes resources and traumatizes innocent people. An agent testified. The defendants knowingly provided false information to immigration authorities, including fabricated evidence, to cause the detention of a U.S. citizen. This is a serious federal offense. Carlos and I postponed the wedding while dealing with the legal aftermath. The trauma of detention affected me deeply. Nightmares, anxiety, fear of law enforcement. I keep thinking they'll come back, I told my therapist, that somehow the false report will resurface and I'll be detained again. Your citizenship is verified, but the trauma of false detention is real and valid. The criminal case proceeded on both state and federal levels. My parents were charged with federal, filing false statements to immigration authorities, conspiracy, obstruction of justice. State, filing false reports, harassment, intentional infliction of emotional distress. The prosecutor was harsh. The defendants fabricated an elaborate immigration fraud scheme, created false evidence, and caused their own daughter to be detained for 3 days, all to prevent her from marrying someone they disapproved of, based on national origin. This is discriminatory abuse disguised as civic duty. My parents were convicted on all counts. They received 18 months federal prison time, plus fines and probation. The judge's statement was scathing. You used immigration enforcement as a weapon against your own child to enforce your bigotry. This is reprehensible. Extended family split along predictable lines. My younger sister supports me. They got you detained in an immigration facility? That's traumatic and insane. But some relatives defend them. They were worried about you marrying someone from Mexico. Their concerns were legitimate even if their methods were wrong. Their concerns were racist, and their methods were criminal. They're your parents. Don't you think prison is too harsh? They caused me to be detained for 3 days based on fabricated evidence. That's a federal crime. Carlos's family was horrified. Your parents reported you to immigration to stop you from marrying him? Because he's Mexican? They're racists. I'm sorry they put you through this too. We support you completely. This wedding will happen, and your parents' bigotry won't stop it. Friends from college were stunned. Your parents tried to get you deported? You're a U.S. citizen. They hoped I'd be detained long enough to miss the wedding, or that somehow immigration would deport me anyway. Some acquaintances think I'm being vindictive. They made a mistake out of prejudice. Pressing charges destroyed your family. They destroyed the family by reporting their daughter to immigration based on fabricated evidence. The wedding happened 2 months later than originally planned. Small ceremony, close friends only. My parents weren't invited. They were in federal prison. Carlos and I are married now, building our life together. My parents tried to use immigration enforcement to stop us and failed. Do I regret pressing charges? No. They committed federal crimes and caused severe trauma. Do I feel guilty they're in prison? No. They weaponized immigration authorities against their own child out of racism. Some relatives say I should forgive them when they're released. They're your parents. They made a mistake. They didn't make a mistake. They deliberately filed false immigration reports to have me detained. That was a choice, not an error. But family should forgive. Family shouldn't report each other to ICE with fabricated evidence. The trauma lingers. I'm hyper-vigilant around law enforcement. I carry my birth certificate and passport everywhere despite being in my own country. The 3 days in detention left lasting psychological scars. But I'm free. I'm married to the man I love. My parents' racism and manipulation failed. They're in federal prison. I'm building a life with Carlos. That's justice. Not the outcome I wanted. I wanted parents who supported me, but the outcome their actions earned. Filing false immigration reports to stop your daughter's wedding isn't concern. It's criminal abuse of the immigration system and betrayal of your own child. They learned that lesson the hard way, through federal conviction and prison time. And I learned that some family members are too toxic and dangerous to maintain relationships with. Even parents. Especially parents who would weaponize immigration enforcement against you. I'm okay with that permanent estrangement. My husband, my chosen family, and my future are worth more than forgiveness for people who tried to have me detained based on lies. They made their choice. I made mine. And mine includes a life without them. My sister stole my donor kidney match and convinced our parents to give it to her instead. I discovered my sister manipulated our parents into giving her the kidney that was meant for me, claiming her need was more urgent when it wasn't. I'm 24 and have been on dialysis for 3 years due to kidney failure from a childhood illness. My younger sister Bree is 21 and developed kidney problems 2 years ago. Last year, our father was tested as a potential donor. He was a match for me, 6 antigens, perfect compatibility. We scheduled surgery for March. I was ecstatic. Dialysis is exhausting and limiting. A transplant meant freedom. 2 weeks before surgery, my parents called a family meeting. They explained that after much consideration, they decided Dad should donate his kidney to Bree instead of me. I was devastated. But he's my match. We already scheduled surgery. He's also a match for Bree, and her situation is more critical. More critical? I've been on dialysis 3 years. She's been sick for 2. Bree's kidney function is declining faster. Her doctors say she needs a transplant urgently. My doctors say the same thing. We made the decision as a family. Bree needs it more. I later discovered the truth through Bree's medical records. She'd left them at my parents' house. Her kidney function was actually stable. She wasn't in immediate danger. But she'd convinced our parents that her situation was dire while downplaying mine. She wanted the kidney because she didn't want to start dialysis. She saw what it did to me and decided to skip that phase entirely by taking my transplant. When I confronted her, she admitted it. You've already been on dialysis for years. You're surviving. I wanted to avoid that. Dad could only donate once, so it made sense for me to get it. It was my match, my surgery. And now it's mine. You'll find another donor eventually. I reported the situation to the Transplant Ethics Board, showed them evidence that Bree had misrepresented her medical urgency. The board investigated and determined the transplant couldn't proceed. My father's kidney would go to neither of us due to the ethical violation of using deception to obtain an organ. My parents are furious that I ruined everything. But they stole my transplant. I had every right to stop it. The fallout from reporting to the Transplant Ethics Board was immediate and severe. My father's scheduled donation was completely canceled. The Hospital Ethics Committee determined that proceeding with any transplant in our family would be inappropriate given the deception and manipulation involved. "You've destroyed both your chances," my mother screamed at me. "Your father can't donate to either of you now." Bree destroyed it by lying about her medical status to steal my match. She wasn't lying. She was expressing her concerns. Her medical records show stable kidney function. She wasn't in crisis. She manipulated you to avoid dialysis while I'm suffering through it. My father was devastated, but also angry at me. I was willing to give my kidney to help my daughters. You've made that impossible. You were willing to give it to the wrong daughter based on lies. Bree needed it. Bree wanted it. There's a difference. I needed it. I've been on dialysis for 3 years. The Ethics Board's report was scathing. They documented how Bree had exaggerated her symptoms to our parents, minimized my condition, and essentially manipulated the family into changing the transplant recipient. The board noted this violated fundamental principles of organ donation ethics. Bree was unrepentant. "You're on dialysis anyway. You're surviving. I didn't want to go through what you're going through. Why is that wrong?" "Because you lied to steal my transplant." "I didn't steal anything. I convinced Mom and Dad that I needed it more. By lying. By advocating for myself. You should have advocated better." Our parents supported her position. They truly believed Bree's need was more urgent because she'd convinced them so effectively. Even after seeing the medical evidence that she'd misrepresented her condition, they insisted she was genuinely worried about her health. Extended family split. My aunt supported me. "Bree literally stole your transplant through deception. That's unconscionable." But my grandparents sided with Bree. "She's younger. She has more life ahead of her. Maybe the kidney should have gone to her anyway." "That's not how organ matching works. Dad was my match first. And he chose to give it to Bree. You should respect that. He chose based on lies." My cousins were horrified by what Bree did. She let you schedule surgery, get hopeful, prepare for transplant, all while planning to take it from you? That's sociopathic. But others saw it as sibling rivalry. Sisters compete. Bree won this round. You'll find another donor. This isn't a competition. This is my life. I'm still on dialysis. Bree started dialysis 2 months ago. Her kidney function finally declined enough to require it, just as her doctors originally predicted. She's miserable and keeps complaining about how awful dialysis is. I have no sympathy. It's been 8 months since the transplant was canceled. I'm still on dialysis, waiting for a donor match from the transplant list. Bree is also on dialysis now, experiencing exactly what she tried to avoid by stealing my transplant. The irony isn't lost on anyone. My mother actually said to me, "If you hadn't reported to the ethics board, Bree would have the kidney and wouldn't be suffering through dialysis. If Bree hadn't lied to steal my transplant, I'd have the kidney and wouldn't still be suffering through dialysis." That's vindictive. That's factual. My father still refuses to speak to me. He blames me for ruining his chance to help his daughters. Never mind that he was originally helping me before Bree manipulated the situation. Bree and I don't speak. She sends occasional messages. "Hope you're happy. We're both on dialysis now instead of just you." I respond, "I'm not happy, but I'm not sorry. You tried to steal my transplant through deception. You faced consequences." My parents have asked if I'd support Dad donating to Bree if the ethics board allowed it in the future. Absolutely not. If he wants to donate to someone, he can donate to me, his original match and recipient before Bree's manipulation. So you'd let Bree suffer? Bree chose this situation. She could have waited her turn, gotten her own donor, or been honest about her condition. Instead, she lied to steal my transplant. These are the consequences of her choices. Some relatives think I should let it go and allow Dad to donate to Bree. You reported to the ethics board out of anger, but now both of you are suffering. Wouldn't it be better if at least one of you got help? That one person should be me, the original recipient who didn't lie or manipulate anyone. The transplant list is long. I might wait years for a deceased donor match. Bree might too. We're both suffering through dialysis, exactly what she tried to avoid. Friends ask if I regret reporting to the ethics board. You stopped both transplants. Maybe if you'd stayed quiet, at least Bree would be healthy. And I'd still be on dialysis while my sister lived with my kidney that she stole through lies. No thanks. If we're both suffering, at least there's justice in that. Is that vindictive? Maybe. But Bree made a calculated choice to deceive our parents and steal my transplant. She gambled that I wouldn't fight back. She lost. Do I feel guilty that neither of us got the kidney? No. Because the alternative, Bree getting my transplant through deception while I continued suffering, was unacceptable. My parents may never forgive me. Bree certainly won't, but I can live with that. What I couldn't live with was letting her get away with stealing my transplant. Now we're both on dialysis, both waiting, and that's more fair than her living with my kidney while I wasted away on machines. Justice isn't always kind. Sometimes it's just equal suffering. And I'm okay with that. My parents sabotaged my college acceptance by withdrawing my enrollment behind my back. I discovered my parents secretly withdrew my college enrollment after I'd been accepted because they wanted me to attend community college near home instead of moving to university. I'm 18 years old. Last spring, I was accepted to my dream university 4 hours away, a prestigious program for biomedical engineering. I'd worked for years to get there. 4.0 GPA, perfect test scores, strong extracurriculars, scholarships covering most of tuition. My parents were never enthusiastic. That's so far away. Why not community college here, then transfer later? This program is ranked 3rd in the country. It's my dream school. Community college is more practical. You can live at home, save on housing. I have scholarships. Housing is covered. We still think community college makes more sense. I ignored their concerns. I was 18, I'd been accepted, and I was going. I accepted the enrollment, paid my deposit, registered for classes, arranged housing. Everything was set for fall semester. Move-in day was last week. I arrived at campus with my belongings, checked in at the housing office, and was told, "We don't have you in our system. Your enrollment was withdrawn in June." That's impossible. I confirmed everything. They checked thoroughly. My enrollment had been officially withdrawn via email from my personal account in June, citing changed plans. The university had processed the withdrawal, refunded my deposit, and given my spot to a waitlisted student. I never sent that email. I never withdrew. I called my parents immediately. "Did you withdraw my university enrollment?" Long pause. Then my mother. "We made a decision that was best for you. You're enrolled at community college here. You start next week." They'd accessed my email account. They set it up years ago and still had the password. Sent withdrawal notices to the university pretending to be me, and enrolled me at local community college without my knowledge. 4 years of work. My dream school. Gone because my parents decided I should stay home. I reported them for fraud and identity theft. They say I'm overreacting to parenting decisions, but what they did was criminal. The evidence was straightforward. The university provided the withdrawal email sent from my account in June. I had security logs showing the email was accessed from my parents' home IP address at a time when I was at my part-time job across town. My parents had logged into my account, composed an official withdrawal notice, and sent it to the university admissions office. The email cited personal reasons and changed educational plans as the reason for withdrawal. The university had no reason to doubt it. The email came from my verified account and matched their withdrawal procedures. They processed it, refunded my deposit to the bank account on file, which my parents also controlled, and moved a waitlisted student into my spot. By the time I discovered the withdrawal on move-in day, it was too late. The semester had started. My spot was gone. My dream school was impossible to attend this year. My parents' defense was parental authority. "You're our daughter. You just graduated high school. We made a decision about your education." "I'm 18 years old. You committed fraud by impersonating me. We accessed an email account we created. We had the password. You withdrew my enrollment without my permission. You stole my college acceptance. We enrolled you in a better option. Community college makes more sense financially and keeps you close to home. That wasn't your choice to make." My father was more direct. "You weren't mature enough to make this decision. 4 hours away, expensive university, living alone. You'd have failed or gotten into trouble. We protected you." By sabotaging my college enrollment? By guiding you toward a better path. The community college enrollment they'd completed for me was real. They'd forged my signature on enrollment documents, registered me for classes, and paid the fees from their account. You even enrolled me without asking? We knew you'd be upset initially, but you'd thank us eventually. Community college for 2 years, then transfer. It's smarter. Smarter according to you. I wanted university. And we're your parents. Our judgment matters. I contacted the university explaining what happened. The admissions office was sympathetic but firm. "We're so sorry this happened, but your enrollment was officially withdrawn. We've filled your spot. You'd need to reapply for next fall." "Can't you make an exception? My parents committed fraud." "We believe you, but we don't have the capacity to reverse a processed withdrawal mid-semester. We encourage you to file a police report and reapply for next year." Reapply. Start the entire process over. Wait another year. All because my parents decided I shouldn't go. I filed police reports for identity theft, fraud, and forgery. The detective understood immediately. Your parents impersonated you to withdraw university enrollment and forged your signature to enroll you elsewhere. Yes, without my knowledge or consent. That's criminal, even though they're your parents. The district attorney agreed to prosecute. Parents don't have unlimited authority over adult children. At 18, the victim had the legal right to choose her own educational path. The parents committed fraud by impersonating her to change that path. My parents were charged with identity theft, wire fraud, the email, and forgery, the community college documents. They faced potential jail time. The family split predictably. My younger siblings are confused. Mom and Dad are going to jail because they enrolled you in community college? They're facing charges because they impersonated me, withdrew my university enrollment without permission, and forged my signature. That's illegal. My grandmother defends them. They were doing what they thought was best. Parents make decisions for their children. I'm 18. I'm not a child. They don't get to make my college decisions. You're still their daughter living under their roof. And they still committed crimes. Being a parent doesn't give you the right to commit fraud. My uncle understands. They sabotaged your college acceptance? That's controlling and illegal. Friends from high school are supportive. Your parents withdrew your enrollment to trap you at home? That's insane. But some acquaintances think I'm overreacting. They enrolled you in college, just not the one you wanted. Pressing charges seems extreme. They stole my dream school acceptance. They committed identity theft. That deserves consequences. The criminal case resulted in convictions. My parents received probation, fines, community service, and mandatory family therapy. No jail time, but criminal records. The university allowed me to reapply with a guaranteed acceptance for next fall given the circumstances. I'll lose a year, but I'll get to attend eventually. In the meantime, I'm not attending the community college my parents enrolled me in. I moved out, got a job, and I'm saving for next year while taking online classes through a different institution. My parents are devastated. You've destroyed our family over a college choice. You destroyed my college acceptance through fraud. I'm just holding you accountable. We were trying to protect you. You were trying to control me. There's a difference. Do I regret pressing charges? No. What they did was criminal. The fact that they're my parents doesn't excuse identity theft and fraud. Do I regret the delayed education? Yes. I should be in my biomedical engineering program right now. Instead, I'm working retail and waiting another year. But I'll get there. Next fall, I'll move into that dorm, start those classes, pursue that degree. Without my parents' interference, without their control, without their protection that's really just manipulation. They tried to trap me at community college near home. They failed. Now they have criminal records and an estranged daughter. That's the price of trying to steal someone's future through fraud. Some prices are worth paying for freedom. I'm free now, and next fall, I'll be exactly where I earned the right to be, at my dream university, living my life, on my terms, not theirs. My parents submitted a false CPS report to take custody of my daughter from me. I discovered my parents filed a fabricated child abuse report with CPS to gain custody of my daughter because they disapproved of my parenting choices and wanted to raise her themselves. I'm 28, a single mother to my 4-year-old daughter Emma. I've been raising her alone since her father left when she was a baby. We have a good life. I work from home as a graphic designer. Emma goes to preschool. We're happy and healthy. My parents have always been critical of my parenting. They think I'm too lenient, that Emma needs more structure, that single mothers can't raise children properly. They've offered multiple times to take Emma for a while so I can get my life together. My life is together. I'm raising my daughter just fine. You're doing your best, but Emma would thrive with 2 parent figures and a structured home. My home is structured, and Emma is thriving. They disagreed, but I thought it was just normal grandparent opinions. Last month, CPS showed up at my door. A caseworker explained they'd received a report alleging neglect and abuse, that Emma was malnourished, living in filthy conditions, and I was using drugs. None of it was true. Emma is healthy and well-fed. My home is clean. I don't use drugs. The caseworker could see immediately that the allegations were false. These claims don't match what I'm seeing. Your home is clean. Your daughter appears healthy and well cared for. Do you know who might have made this report? I suspected immediately but didn't want to believe it. The caseworker investigated and determined the report was unfounded. But CPS is required to investigate all reports, so Emma was temporarily placed in foster care pending the full investigation, standard procedure for serious allegations. During those 3 days without Emma, I was devastated. And my parents? They filed for emergency custody, claiming I was unfit and using the CPS investigation as evidence. When I got Emma back and learned my parents had tried to use the false report to take custody, I knew. They'd filed the report themselves. I hired a lawyer and demanded CPS reveal the reporter. It was my mother. She'd fabricated everything to create a case for taking Emma from me. I pressed charges for filing a false report and sued for defamation and emotional distress. The evidence against my parents was overwhelming. CPS records showed my mother had filed the report with specific, detailed allegations, all of which were provably false. She claimed Emma was underweight and malnourished. Emma's pediatrician records showed she was in the 60th percentile for height and weight, perfectly healthy. She claimed my home was filthy and hazardous. Photos from the CPS visit showed a clean, child-safe environment. She claimed I used methamphetamine daily. Drug tests came back completely negative. Every single allegation was fabricated. And my parents had filed for emergency custody within 24 hours of Emma being placed in temporary foster care, before the investigation was even complete. Their lawyer presented their custody petition. The grandparents are concerned about the child's welfare in a single-parent home. The ongoing CPS investigation demonstrates the mother's unfitness. My lawyer countered. The grandmother filed a false CPS report to create the investigation she's now citing as evidence of unfitness. This is custodial interference through fraud. CPS was not pleased. The caseworker testified, "False reports waste resources and traumatize families. This child was removed from a safe home based on fabricated allegations." The grandmother's immediate custody filing suggests this was premeditated. My mother's defense was that she genuinely believed I was unfit, even if specific details were exaggerated for CPS to take it seriously. "You lied about drug use to take my child." "I was concerned. You're a single mother. You work from home. How do I know what you're doing?" "By visiting, by talking to me, not by filing false abuse reports." CPS wouldn't have investigated if I just said I was concerned. I needed them to take it seriously. "So you invented drug use and neglect?" I did what I thought was necessary to protect Emma. My father supported her. "We want what's best for Emma. She should be raised in a 2-parent home with structure and stability." "You traumatized her. She was taken from me for 3 days because you lied." 3 days isn't trauma. But growing up with a single mother who works all the time? That's real harm. The criminal case was straightforward. Filing a false CPS report is a crime. My mother was convicted of making a false report and custodial interference. She received 60 days in jail, probation, and a permanent restraining order from Emma and me. The civil case resulted in damages for emotional distress, both mine and Emma's. The court acknowledged the trauma of having a child removed based on false allegations. But money didn't fix the damage. Emma had nightmares for weeks about the lady who took me away from mommy. She's in play therapy now, processing the trauma of being removed from our home. My relationship with my parents is destroyed. My mother maintains she did the right thing, despite the conviction. My father still believes they should have custody. The family fallout has been devastating. My younger sister understands. They filed a false abuse report to steal your kid? That's psychotic. But my aunt defends them. They were worried about Emma. They made a mistake in how they expressed that concern. They didn't make a mistake. They committed fraud. They lied to CPS to have Emma taken from me. because they genuinely believe Emma would be better off with them. Their beliefs don't justify filing false abuse reports. My grandparents are torn. My grandmother sees both sides. What your mother did was wrong, but she loves Emma and wants what's best. What's best for Emma is being with her mother who hasn't committed crimes to take custody. My grandfather is more direct. Your mother crossed a line. You can't lie to the government to take someone's kid. Friends have been supportive. Your parents tried to kidnap your daughter through CPS. That's unforgivable. But some acquaintances think I'm being harsh. They're grandparents who love their granddaughter. Can't you work this out? They filed false abuse allegations against me. There's no working that out. But jail time seems excessive. They're family. They tried to steal my child. Family doesn't excuse that. Emma still asks about her grandparents sometimes. Why don't we see Grandma and Grandpa? They made some choices that hurt us. We need to stay away from them to be safe. Did they do something bad? Yes, honey. They lied to people and tried to take you away from me. I don't want to be away from you. You won't be, I promise. The restraining order is permanent. My parents cannot contact Emma or me. They've tried sending letters through my sister, but I returned them unopened. My mother wrote to my sister, "Tell her we're sorry for the methods but not the intention. We still believe Emma deserves better than a single mother." That says everything. They're not sorry they did it. They're sorry it didn't work. Some relatives think I should forgive them eventually. Family is important. They made a mistake out of love. But this wasn't love. Love doesn't file false abuse reports. Love doesn't try to steal children through fraud. This was control. They wanted to raise Emma their way, and when I wouldn't give her up voluntarily, they tried to take her through the legal system by lying. Do I regret pressing charges? No. They committed crimes. They faced consequences. Do I regret the permanent estrangement? Sometimes. Emma lost her grandparents. I lost my parents. But I gained safety. I gained the knowledge that Emma will never be taken from me based on their lies again. The restraining order protects us. My parents can't file more false reports, can't interfere with custody, can't access Emma. They tried to take my daughter. They failed. And now they've lost her completely. That's justice. Harsh? Maybe. But filing false abuse reports to steal custody isn't a mistake to forgive. It's a betrayal that destroyed our family permanently. And I'm okay with that being the price they pay for trying to take my child. My parents gave away my emotional support dog to my brother because he wanted it more. My parents gave my prescribed emotional support dog to my brother while I was at college because he bonded with it, and they thought I was too dependent on the animal. I'm 20 years old with severe PTSD from a car accident that killed my best friend 3 years ago. After the accident, I developed panic attacks, nightmares, and agoraphobia. My therapist recommended an emotional support animal. Last year, I adopted Bailey, a golden retriever trained as an emotional support dog. Bailey changed my life. The panic attacks decreased. I could sleep through the night. I could leave the house with Bailey by my side. My therapist documented the significant improvement in my mental health. When I left for college this semester, I couldn't bring Bailey to the dorms. They allow ESAs, but I'm on a waiting list for approved housing. My parents agreed to keep Bailey at home. I'd visit every weekend, and Bailey would come to campus once I got ESA-approved housing next semester. Last weekend I came home and Bailey wasn't there. "Where's Bailey?" My mom looked uncomfortable. "We need to talk about that." "Where is my dog?" "Your brother really bonded with Bailey while you were gone. He's been taking care of her, walking her, playing with her. He got very attached." "My brother is 16. He's never had mental health issues. He just wanted a dog." "Okay, so he helped take care of Bailey. That's fine. Where is she?" We decided it would be better if Bailey stayed with him. He loves her and he's here all the time. You're away at college. Bailey is my emotional support dog. I have a prescription. I need her for my PTSD. We think you're too dependent on the dog. It's not healthy. You need to learn to manage without her. My brother had my dog, my prescribed medical support animal, because he bonded with her, and my parents decided I didn't really need her. I reported them to the ESA regulatory authorities and got law enforcement involved. Taking someone's prescribed emotional support animal is theft and potentially disability discrimination. Bailey was returned to me within 48 hours. My parents are furious that I involved the law over a dog. But Bailey isn't just a dog. She's my prescribed medical treatment, and they stole her. Getting Bailey back required police involvement and a letter from my therapist confirming Bailey was prescribed medical equipment, not just a pet. The police were sympathetic. Apparently, they dealt with ESA theft before. Your parents gave away your emotional support animal? The officer asked. They gave her to my brother because he bonded with her. That's like giving away someone's wheelchair because someone else wanted to use it. Exactly. But my parents didn't see it that way. When the officer arrived at their house with documentation demanding Bailey's return, my mother cried. You called the police on us? Over a dog? Over my prescribed emotional support animal that you stole. We didn't steal anything. We made a parenting decision. You don't get to make parenting decisions about my medical treatment. I'm 20 years old. My brother was devastated. But I love Bailey. She's my dog now. She was never your dog. She's my ESA. You can get your own dog. But I want Bailey. And I need Bailey. There's a difference. My father was the angriest. You've traumatized your brother by taking away a dog he loved. You should be ashamed. You traumatized me by stealing my medical support animal. You don't get to lecture me about trauma. The therapist who prescribed Bailey was horrified when I told her what happened. Your parents removed your ESA without medical consultation? That's incredibly dangerous. Do they understand you have PTSD? They think I'm too dependent on Bailey and need to manage on my own. That's not how treatment works. They wouldn't tell a diabetic they're too dependent on insulin. This is the same thing. My therapist wrote a formal letter to my parents explaining the medical necessity of Bailey, the harm caused by removing her, and the potential liability if my mental health deteriorated due to their interference. She copied it to my college's Disability Services office. The college was alarmed. They immediately approved me for ESA housing, moving me from the waiting list to immediate placement. Given the family interference with your prescribed treatment, we're prioritizing your case. Bailey and I moved into ESA-approved housing within a week. She's back by my side. My panic attacks have decreased again. I'm sleeping better. But my family relationships are shattered. My brother sends me angry texts. You ruined everything. I loved Bailey and you took her away just to be spiteful. I took her back because she's my prescribed medical treatment. She's a dog. You're acting like I stole your medication. You literally did. An ESA is medical equipment. My parents have told extended family that I chose a dog over family. My aunt called me. Your parents are heartbroken. Was it really necessary to involve police? Was it necessary for them to steal my emotional support animal? They didn't steal. They made a decision about a pet. Not a pet. A prescribed ESA. They committed theft and disability discrimination. It's been 2 months since I got Bailey back. My parents haven't apologized. They maintain they did what was best, and I'm overreacting by keeping Bailey from my brother. He cries about losing her, my mother tells me during one of our rare phone calls. I cried about losing her too. But I also lost sleep, had panic attacks, and couldn't function. Because she's not just a companion, she's medical treatment. You're being dramatic. My therapist disagrees. The police disagreed. The College Disability Office disagrees. Everyone with actual knowledge of ESAs disagrees. My brother has started a campaign on social media about how I stole his dog. He posts photos of himself with Bailey from when I was at college, captions about how much he misses her, and accusations that I'm cruel and selfish. His friends comment with support. "She took your dog? That's messed up." I don't engage, but my friends defend me. Bailey is her prescribed ESA. Your brother tried to steal her medical treatment animal. The college community has been supportive. My RA knows the situation and has helped establish that Bailey is medical equipment, not negotiable. Disability Services documented everything in case my family tries to interfere again. My parents have threatened to come take Bailey back since we're her legal owners. I consulted with Campus Legal Services. They explained, as the person for whom Bailey was prescribed, you have legal rights to her as medical equipment regardless of who technically owns her. If your parents attempt to take her, contact police immediately. Some relatives think I'm being stubborn. Just get a different ESA and let your brother have Bailey. Problem solved. Bailey is specifically trained. She knows my triggers. She's bonded to me. I can't just replace her. Your brother bonded with her too. My brother doesn't have PTSD. He doesn't need her. He wants her. I need her. My grandfather understands. He's a veteran with PTSD and has a service dog. What your parents did is unconscionable. A support animal isn't a toy to redistribute based on who bonds with it. But my grandmother sides with my parents. Family is more important than a dog. You've destroyed your relationship with your parents over a pet. Bailey isn't a pet, and they destroyed the relationship by stealing my medical treatment. I visit home less now. When I do, my brother glares at me. My parents are cold. They make pointed comments about how attached I am to Bailey, how unhealthy my dependence is. My therapist says this is projection. They're uncomfortable with your mental health needs, so they frame your legitimate treatment as dependency. That's their issue, not yours. Do I regret involving the police? No. My parents gave away my prescribed emotional support animal. That required intervention. Do I feel guilty that my brother is sad? A little. He did love Bailey, but he can love another dog. I need Bailey specifically. My mental health is more important than my brother's want for a specific dog. My medical treatment isn't negotiable. Bailey stays with me. Anyone who can't understand that doesn't understand PTSD, ESAs, or medical necessity. And I'm okay with that being the hill our family relationship dies on. Because without Bailey, I might not survive college. With her, I'm thriving. My parents chose my brother's wants over my needs. I chose my health over their approval. And I'd make that choice again. My family secretly replaced my ADHD medication with placebos to prove I was faking. I discovered my mother had been swapping my prescription ADHD medication with sugar pills for 6 months to prove my diagnosis was fake and I was just making excuses for laziness. I'm 22 years old and was diagnosed with ADHD at age 20 after struggling through high school and my first 2 years of college. The diagnosis explained everything: why I couldn't focus in lectures, why I'd forget assignments, why organization felt impossible. Starting medication changed my life. Suddenly I could concentrate, complete tasks, remember things. My grades improved dramatically. I went from barely passing to Dean's List. My doctor said the medication's effectiveness itself confirmed the ADHD diagnosis. People without ADHD don't experience these improvements. My mother never believed the diagnosis. You're just lazy and making excuses. ADHD is overdiagnosed. Doctors just want to prescribe pills. Mom, the medication helps. I can finally function. Placebo effect. You believe the pills help, so they do. It's all in your head. 6 months ago, my symptoms suddenly returned. I couldn't focus in class, forgot deadlines, lost things constantly. My grades started dropping again. I went to my doctor confused. The medication stopped working. That's unusual. Let me check your dosage and potentially adjust. But adjusting the dose didn't help. Nothing helped. I was back to pre-medication levels of dysfunction while taking what should have been effective medication. Last week, I found the evidence. My mother's phone was unlocked on the kitchen counter. A text thread with my aunt showed everything. Mom, I've been switching her ADHD pills with sugar tablets for 6 months. If ADHD was real, she'd still function fine since she doesn't know they're fake. Aunt, isn't that dangerous? Mom, it's proving a point. She's struggling because she's lazy, not because pills actually help. This proves ADHD is made up. My mother had been systematically replacing my prescription medication with placebos to prove my diagnosis was fake. She thought if I didn't know the pills were fake, I'd continue functioning, proving the medication was unnecessary. Instead, I'd failed 2 classes, lost my scholarship, and spent 6 months thinking my brain was broken in new ways. I reported her to the police for medication tampering and filed a complaint with the medical board. The police investigation confirmed my mother had purchased empty gel capsules and sugar powder online. She'd been opening my prescription bottles, removing the real medication, and replacing it with homemade sugar pills that looked identical. How long has this been happening? The detective asked. 6 months based on her texts, maybe longer. And you had no idea? The capsules looked identical. I had no reason to suspect my mother was tampering with my prescription medication. My doctor was horrified. Your mother replaced your ADHD medication with placebos for 6 months. She thought if I didn't know they were fake, I'd function fine, proving I don't actually need medication. That's not how ADHD works. The medication addresses a neurochemical deficiency. Without it, symptoms return regardless of belief or placebo effect. That's what happened. All my symptoms came back. And you failed classes because of it? 2 classes, lost my scholarship, thought something was seriously wrong because the medication stopped working. My psychiatrist was equally appalled. This is medical abuse. Your mother interfered with your psychiatric treatment for 6 months. The academic and psychological damage could be significant. The texts showed my mother's reasoning. Mom, if ADHD were real, a placebo wouldn't matter. The fact that she's struggling without medication just proves she's lazy and using ADHD as an excuse. Aunt, but what if ADHD is real and you're making her condition worse? Mom, it's not real. This experiment proves it. She's struggling because she's not trying, not because of fake pills. Her logic was backwards. My struggles without medication proved the medication worked, proving the ADHD diagnosis. But she interpreted it as proof I was lazy. The academic consequences were severe. I'd failed 2 required courses, dropping my GPA below the scholarship threshold. I lost $15,000 in annual scholarship funding and had to retake both courses. My university's Disability Services office was furious when they learned what happened. A parent tampered with your disability accommodation medication? That's a serious violation. They advocated on my behalf with the scholarship committee. After reviewing the police report and medical documentation proving my mother had sabotaged my treatment, the committee reinstated my scholarship with a probationary status. But the damage was done. I'd lost 6 months of proper treatment, failed classes I would have passed with medication, suffered psychologically thinking my brain was deteriorating. My mother showed no remorse. I was trying to help you see that ADHD isn't real. You're just lazy, and the medication was enabling your excuses. I failed classes because you took away my medication. You failed because you didn't try hard enough. That's my point. The scholarship committee disagrees. The police disagree. My doctors disagree. They're all part of the pharmaceutical industry's ADHD scam. There was no reasoning with her. The criminal case resulted in conviction for medication tampering and reckless endangerment. My mother received probation, mandatory mental health treatment, and a restraining order preventing contact with me. The family split predictably. My father divorced my mother. I can't be married to someone who sabotaged our daughter's education and health. My younger brother supports me. What she did was insane. You could have been seriously hurt academically or psychologically. But my maternal grandmother defends her. She was trying to help you. She believes ADHD is overdiagnosed and wanted to prove you didn't need medication. By sabotaging my treatment and causing me to fail classes? She didn't know that would happen. She thought you'd be fine. That's exactly why she committed a crime. She experimented on me without consent. My aunt, the one my mother texted, apologized. I should have told you immediately what she was doing. I didn't think she'd actually go through with it. She went through with it for 6 months. I know, I'm sorry. Some relatives think I overreacted. She's your mother. She made a mistake. Pressing charges seems harsh. She deliberately tampered with my prescription medication to prove a conspiracy theory. That's not a mistake. Friends from my ADHD support group were unanimous. Your mother sabotaged your treatment. That's abuse. You did the right thing reporting her. My university professors were sympathetic when I explained what happened. Several wrote letters supporting my scholarship reinstatement, noting the dramatic difference in my performance before and after my mother's tampering. Your work in the first semester was excellent, one professor wrote. The sudden decline in the second semester was alarming. Learning this was due to medication sabotage explains everything. I'm back on proper medication now. My symptoms are controlled again. My grades have recovered. I'm retaking the failed classes and doing well. But the trust is permanently broken. My mother had access to my apartment, my medication, my life. She used that access to experiment on me without consent. She still doesn't believe she did anything wrong. I stand by my actions. ADHD is overdiagnosed, and you don't need medication. You just need discipline. The courts disagree. The medical community disagrees. My academic performance disagrees. Because you've been brainwashed by doctors who profit from prescribing unnecessary medication. There's no point arguing. She's committed to her conspiracy theory even after being convicted of a crime. Do I regret pressing charges? No. What she did was criminal and dangerous. She faced appropriate consequences. Do I miss having a mother? Sometimes. But I don't miss having someone who sabotages my medical treatment. The restraining order stays in place. My mother can't contact me, can't access my apartment, can't interfere with my medication again. My ADHD is properly managed. My grades are good. My scholarship is reinstated. All despite my mother's attempt to prove my diagnosis was fake. She failed. I succeeded. And that's the best revenge. My family secretly replaced my ADHD medication with placebos to prove I was faking. I discovered my mother had been swapping my prescription ADHD medication with sugar pills for 6 months to prove my diagnosis was fake, and I was just making excuses for laziness. I'm 22 years old and was diagnosed with ADHD at age 20 after struggling through high school and my first 2 years of college. The diagnosis explained everything: why I couldn't focus in lectures, why I'd forget assignments, why organization felt impossible. Starting medication changed my life. Suddenly I could concentrate, complete tasks, remember things. My grades improved dramatically. I went from barely passing to Dean's List. My doctor said the medication's effectiveness itself confirmed the ADHD diagnosis. People without ADHD don't experience these improvements. My mother never believed the diagnosis. You're just lazy and making excuses. ADHD is overdiagnosed. Doctors just want to prescribe pills. Mom, the medication helps. I can finally function. Placebo effect. You believe the pills help, so they do. It's all in your head. 6 months ago, my symptoms suddenly returned. I couldn't focus in class, forgot deadlines, lost things constantly. My grades started dropping again. I went to my doctor, confused. The medication stopped working. That's unusual. Let me check your dosage and potentially adjust. But adjusting the dose didn't help. Nothing helped. I was back to pre-medication levels of dysfunction while taking what should have been effective medication. Last week, I found the evidence. My mother's phone was unlocked on the kitchen counter. A text thread with my aunt showed everything. Mom, I've been switching her ADHD pills with sugar tablets for 6 months. If ADHD was real, she'd still function fine since she doesn't know they're fake. Aunt, isn't that dangerous? Mom, it's proving a point. She's struggling because she's lazy, not because pills actually help. This proves ADHD is made up. My mother had been systematically replacing my prescription medication with placebos to prove my diagnosis was fake. She thought if I didn't know the pills were fake, I'd continue functioning, proving the medication was unnecessary. Instead, I'd failed 2 classes, lost my scholarship, and spent 6 months thinking my brain was broken in new ways. I reported her to the police for medication tampering and filed a complaint with the medical board. The police investigation confirmed my mother had purchased empty gel capsules and sugar powder online. She'd been opening my prescription bottles, removing the real medication, and replacing it with homemade sugar pills that looked identical. How long has this been happening? The detective asked. 6 months based on her texts, maybe longer. And you had no idea? The capsules looked identical. I had no reason to suspect my mother was tampering with my prescription medication. My doctor was horrified. Your mother replaced your ADHD medication with placebos for 6 months. She thought if I didn't know they were fake, I'd function fine, proving I don't actually need medication. That's not how ADHD works. The medication addresses a neurochemical deficiency. Without it, symptoms return regardless of belief or placebo effect. That's what happened. All my symptoms came back. And you failed classes because of it? 2 classes, lost my scholarship, thought something was seriously wrong because the medication stopped working. My psychiatrist was equally appalled. This is medical abuse. Your mother interfered with your psychiatric treatment for 6 months. The academic and psychological damage could be significant. The texts showed my mother's reasoning. Mom, if ADHD were real, a placebo wouldn't matter. The fact that she's struggling without medication just proves she's lazy and using ADHD as an excuse. Aunt, but what if ADHD is real and you're making her condition worse? Mom, it's not real. This experiment proves it. She's struggling because she's not trying, not because of fake pills. Her logic was backwards. My struggles without medication proved the medication worked, proving the ADHD diagnosis. But she interpreted it as proof I was lazy. The academic consequences were severe. I'd failed 2 required courses, dropping my GPA below the scholarship threshold. I lost $15,000 in annual scholarship funding and had to retake both courses. My university's Disability Services office was furious when they learned what happened. A parent tampered with your disability accommodation medication? That's a serious violation. They advocated on my behalf with the scholarship committee. After reviewing the police report and medical documentation proving my mother had sabotaged my treatment, the committee reinstated my scholarship with a probationary status. But the damage was done. I'd lost 6 months of proper treatment, failed classes I would have passed with medication, suffered psychologically thinking my brain was deteriorating. My mother showed no remorse. I was trying to help you see that ADHD isn't real. You're just lazy, and the medication was enabling your excuses. I failed classes because you took away my medication. You failed because you didn't try hard enough. That's my point. The scholarship committee disagrees. The police disagree. My doctors disagree. They're all part of the pharmaceutical industry's ADHD scam. There was no reasoning with her. The criminal case resulted in conviction for medication tampering and reckless endangerment. My mother received probation, mandatory mental health treatment, and a restraining order preventing contact with me. The family split predictably. My father divorced my mother. I can't be married to someone who sabotaged our daughter's education and health. My younger brother supports me. What she did was insane. You could have been seriously hurt academically or psychologically. But my maternal grandmother defends her. She was trying to help you. She believes ADHD is overdiagnosed and wanted to prove you didn't need medication. By sabotaging my treatment and causing me to fail classes? She didn't know that would happen. She thought you'd be fine. That's exactly why she committed a crime. She experimented on me without consent. My aunt, the one my mother texted, apologized. I should have told you immediately what she was doing. I didn't think she'd actually go through with it. She went through with it for 6 months. I know, I'm sorry. Some relatives think I overreacted. She's your mother. She made a mistake. Pressing charges seems harsh. She deliberately tampered with my prescription medication to prove a conspiracy theory. That's not a mistake. Friends from my ADHD support group were unanimous. Your mother sabotaged your treatment. That's abuse. You did the right thing reporting her. My university professors were sympathetic when I explained what happened. Several wrote letters supporting my scholarship reinstatement, noting the dramatic difference in my performance before and after my mother's tampering. Your work in the first semester was excellent, one professor wrote. The sudden decline in the second semester was alarming. Learning this was due to medication sabotage explains everything. I'm back on proper medication now. My symptoms are controlled again. My grades have recovered. I'm retaking the failed classes and doing well. But the trust is permanently broken. My mother had access to my apartment, my medication, my life. She used that access to experiment on me without consent. She still doesn't believe she did anything wrong. I stand by my actions. ADHD is overdiagnosed, and you don't need medication. You just need discipline. The courts disagree. The medical community disagrees. My academic performance disagrees. Because you've been brainwashed by doctors who profit from prescribing unnecessary medication. There's no point arguing. She's committed to her conspiracy theory even after being convicted of a crime. Do I regret pressing charges? No. What she did was criminal and dangerous. She faced appropriate consequences. Do I miss having a mother? Sometimes. But I don't miss having someone who sabotages my medical treatment. The restraining order stays in place. My mother can't contact me, can't access my apartment, can't interfere with my medication again. My ADHD is properly managed. My grades are good. My scholarship is reinstated. All despite my mother's attempt to prove my diagnosis was fake. She failed. I succeeded. And that's the best revenge. My family convinced my fiancé I was cheating to break up our engagement and keep me home. I discovered my parents and sister fabricated evidence that I was having an affair to destroy my engagement because they didn't want me to move away after the wedding. I'm 27 years old. My fiancée Maya and I were planning our wedding for next spring. We'd been together for 4 years, engaged for 6 months. After the wedding, we planned to move 3 states away for her job opportunity, an amazing position she couldn't turn down. My family was devastated about the move. My mother, "You can't leave. We're a close family. We need you here. Maya's career opportunity is incredible. We're building our life together. What about us? What about your family? You'll visit. We'll visit. It's only a few hours away." They weren't satisfied. They wanted me to stay, to convince Maya to turn down the job, to keep our life centered around my hometown. 2 months ago, Maya broke off our engagement. She wouldn't explain why, just said she couldn't marry me, that she'd been wrong about us, that the wedding was off. I was devastated. I begged her to explain. She refused, packed her things, and moved out within a week. My family was sympathetic. My mother, "I'm so sorry, honey, but maybe this is for the best. You don't have to move now. You can stay here with family." Something felt wrong about the timing, but I was too heartbroken to question it. Last week, Maya's best friend contacted me. "We need to talk. Maya broke up with you because of photos your sister sent her." "What photos?" "Photos of you with another woman, in compromising positions. Your sister sent them to Maya with messages saying you'd been cheating for months." I'd never cheated. Ever. I demanded to see the photos. They were doctored. Someone had photoshopped my face onto another man's body in intimate situations with a woman I'd never met. The editing was good enough to fool Maya, especially combined with my sister's concerned messages about my affair. My sister had manufactured evidence of infidelity to destroy my engagement and prevent me from moving away. I exposed everything to Maya and reported my sister for harassment and defamation. The digital forensics expert confirmed what I suspected. These images are composites. Your face has been digitally added to photographs of another person. The lighting inconsistencies and edge artifacts prove manipulation. I gathered all the evidence: the fake photos, my sister's messages to Maya, metadata showing when the images were created, all within a 2-week period before Maya broke up with me, and expert analysis confirming forgery. Maya was horrified when I showed her. "Your sister created fake evidence that you were cheating? To break us up, to keep me from moving away. She told me she'd seen you with this woman multiple times, that you'd been hiding the affair for months, that she felt obligated to tell me before the wedding. She lied about all of it. I believed her. She's your sister. Why would she lie? To keep me from leaving town. My family didn't want me to move." The messages my sister had sent Maya were elaborate. "I'm so sorry to tell you this, but I saw Marcus with another woman again today. I've been struggling with whether to tell you, but you deserve to know before the wedding. I have photos. I hate that I had to take them, but you need proof. This has been going on for at least 6 months. He's been lying to you. I know this is devastating, but better to find out now than after you're married." She'd built an entire narrative. Multiple sightings, claims of a months-long affair, fake photographic evidence, all to convince Maya I was unfaithful. And it worked. Maya ended our engagement, moved out, and I nearly lost the love of my life. When I confronted my sister, she was unapologetic. "You were going to abandon the family." "I did what I needed to do to keep you here." "You destroyed my engagement with fake evidence." "I saved you from making a mistake. Moving away, starting a new life. You would have regretted it. That wasn't your decision to make. You're my brother. I wasn't going to let you leave." My parents knew. Text messages revealed they'd encouraged my sister's plan. "Mom, whatever you need to do to make him stay. We can't lose him. Dad, if the engagement ends, he'll stay here. Do what you have to do." They'd conspired together, created fake evidence, destroyed my relationship, all to prevent me from moving 3 hours away. Maya and I are trying to rebuild trust. She feels guilty for believing the lies, but they were convincing. My sister had presented herself as the concerned sibling, reluctantly revealing painful truth. "How do I know your family won't interfere again?" Maya asks. "They won't have the chance. I'm cutting them off completely." I reported my sister to police for harassment, defamation, and digital forgery. The case was straightforward. She'd created false evidence with intent to harm my relationship and reputation. Maya provided testimony. The defendant sent me fabricated photographs claiming to show my fiancé in an affair. The images appeared authentic. I ended my engagement based on this false evidence. The digital forensics expert testified. The defendant used photo editing software to create composite images, placing the plaintiff's face on another person's body. This required planning and technical skill. My sister's defense was that she was protecting family. My brother was making a mistake moving away. I prevented him from leaving by showing his fiancée that he wasn't committed. The prosecutor was harsh. The defendant didn't show proof of anything real. She manufactured false evidence of infidelity, deceiving the victim into ending a legitimate engagement. This is calculated defamation. My sister was convicted. She received probation, mandatory counseling, a permanent restraining order, and had to publicly retract her claims about my fictional affair. My parents face no criminal charges but social consequences instead. When the truth spread through our community that they'd helped fabricate infidelity evidence to prevent their son from moving, their reputation was destroyed. Friends from church stopped calling. Neighbors avoided them. Extended family was appalled. You helped create fake cheating photos to break up your son's engagement? That's unconscionable. My uncle. They kept saying Maya wasn't right for the family. We thought they meant personality conflicts. We didn't know they'd orchestrate a breakup through fraud. Some relatives still defend them. They were desperate not to lose you. They made terrible choices but came from a place of love. Love doesn't include destroying someone's engagement with fake evidence. They panicked. You're their son. They couldn't bear you leaving. I was moving 3 hours away, not disappearing. Their reaction was insane. Maya and I postponed the wedding while we rebuild trust. Therapy is helping. She understands intellectually that my sister fabricated everything, but emotionally, she still struggles with the images she saw. I know they're fake, she says, but I remember how I felt seeing them. The betrayal, the anger. It's hard to separate knowing the truth from feeling the lie. We're working through it, slowly. My relationship with my family is destroyed. My mother sends emails. We made mistakes, but we did it because we love you. Can't we work past this? You conspired to destroy my engagement. That's not love. We were desperate. You were leaving. I was moving 3 hours away. You acted like I was dying. My father maintains they did nothing wrong. We tried to keep our family together. If Maya can't forgive some meddling, she wasn't right for you anyway. Meddling? You created fake evidence of an affair. To make her see she wasn't the priority. We are. That says everything. They genuinely believe family should be my priority over my future wife. That preventing me from moving justified any deception. Do I regret cutting them off? No. They destroyed my engagement, nearly cost me the woman I love, and show no genuine remorse. Do I regret pressing charges? No. What my sister did was criminal. She deserved consequences. Maya and I are moving forward, literally. We're still taking her job 3 states away, still getting married, just on a delayed timeline. My family won't be invited. They chose to destroy our relationship rather than accept our decision to move. Now, they've lost me entirely. Not just to distance, but to estrangement. They tried to keep me close by pushing Maya away. Instead, they pushed me away permanently. That's justice. Harsh, but earned. Some betrayals don't deserve forgiveness. Fabricating infidelity evidence to destroy someone's engagement is one of them. My family learned that the hard way. And I'm okay with that being the price they pay for their manipulation. My brother secretly changed my DNA test results to make me think I wasn't related to my dying father. I discovered my brother falsified my DNA test results to make me believe our dying father wasn't biologically mine, causing me to skip his final months while my brother positioned himself as the only real son. I'm 25 years old. My father was diagnosed with terminal cancer last year and given 6 to 12 months to live. My brother Ryan is 28. We've always had a competitive relationship, but I thought we'd put that aside during Dad's illness. 3 months into Dad's diagnosis, Ryan suggested we all do DNA ancestry tests as a family project. It'll be fun to learn about our heritage together. We can share the results with Dad. It seemed harmless. We all submitted samples, me, Ryan, our parents. A few weeks later, Ryan showed me my results privately before the family reveal. I need to tell you something. Your results, they show Dad isn't your biological father. I was stunned. What? Look, he showed me the DNA comparison. It showed I shared no paternal DNA with our father. 0 genetic connection. This must be a mistake. I checked multiple times. Mom must have, had an affair. I was devastated. My entire identity shattered. I confronted my mother, who denied it vehemently, but the DNA results seemed conclusive. I distanced myself from Dad during his final months. It hurt too much knowing he wasn't really my father. Why pretend? Ryan, meanwhile, became the devoted son, visiting daily, helping with medical appointments, being there for Dad's deteriorating health. Dad died 3 months ago. At the funeral, a family friend mentioned how sad it was that I'd pulled away during his final months. He kept asking about you. Ryan said you were dealing with personal issues. After the funeral, I decided to run my own DNA test through a different company. The results showed I was absolutely my father's biological son. 50% genetic match. Undeniable. Ryan had faked my original results. He'd somehow manipulated the DNA comparison to show 0 paternal match, driving me away from Dad during his final months so Ryan could be the only devoted son. I exposed everything to the family and reported Ryan for fraud and emotional manipulation. The evidence was clear. I had 2 DNA tests, Ryan's version showing no paternal connection, and my independent test showing definitive biological relationship to Dad. I hired a digital forensics expert to examine Ryan's results. The expert confirmed, these results were digitally altered. Someone with basic photo editing skills modified the original report to remove the paternal DNA matches. Ryan had received the real results, edited them to show 0 paternal connection, and presented the fake version to me. The motive became clear through Ryan's own text messages to his girlfriend. Ryan, convinced him he's not Dad's real son. He's pulling away. Dad's heartbroken, but I'm there being the perfect son. Girlfriend, that's cruel. Ryan, he's always been Mom's favorite. Now I'm Dad's only real son for his final months. I deserve this time. He'd manufactured a paternity crisis to eliminate me from Dad's final months. To have Dad to himself. To be the sole devoted son without competition. My mother was horrified when I showed her the evidence. Ryan told us you were having an identity crisis and needed space. We thought you were processing something difficult. We never knew he'd fabricated DNA results. He told you I needed space? Yes. He said you'd asked not to be contacted while you worked through personal issues. We respected that, even though your father was heartbroken. Dad thought I was choosing to stay away? We didn't understand why, but Ryan said you'd asked for space and we should honor that. Ryan had built an entire narrative. Fake DNA results to push me away. Lies to my parents about why I was distant. Positioning himself as the only loving, present son. And it worked. I missed Dad's final 3 months. The last conversations. The last moments. The chance to say goodbye properly. All because Ryan wanted to be the only son. When I confronted Ryan, he was defiant. You've always been Mom's favorite. I deserved to be Dad's favorite at the end. So you made me think I wasn't his son? You stole his final months from me? You chose to stay away. I just provided information. False information. You faked DNA results. I gave you data. You interpreted it however you wanted. You literally told me Dad wasn't my biological father. And you believed it instead of getting a second opinion. That's on you. The cruelty was breathtaking. He felt no remorse for manipulating me out of Dad's final months. He felt entitled to that time because he thought I was our mother's favorite. I reported Ryan to both local police and the DNA testing company for fraud and forgery. The company confirmed their results had been digitally altered after delivery and filed their own complaint. Ryan was charged with fraud, forgery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The prosecutor was particularly harsh. The defendant fabricated medical test results to drive his brother away from their dying father's bedside. This is extraordinarily cruel manipulation. The trial revealed the full extent of Ryan's planning. He'd researched how to edit PDF documents. He'd practiced on sample DNA reports before altering mine. He'd created a convincing fake that fooled me for months. Expert testimony confirmed the defendant deliberately and skillfully modified official DNA test results to create false information about paternity. This required premeditation and technical knowledge. Ryan's defense was that he didn't force me to stay away. I showed him information. He made his own choices about what to do with that information. The jury didn't buy it. Convicted on all counts, Ryan received 18 months in prison plus probation. But prison time doesn't return the time I lost with Dad. Those final 3 months where he wondered why his son abandoned him, where he died thinking I didn't care enough to be present. My mother tries to comfort me. Your father loved you. He knew something was wrong. He never stopped asking about you. But he died thinking I chose to stay away. He was confused and hurt, yes, but he loved you until the end. That doesn't fix it. I wasn't there. Because my brother wanted to be the only son, I missed my father's death. The family has fractured. My mother doesn't speak to Ryan. Extended family is horrified. He faked DNA results to steal your father's final months? That's evil. A few relatives defend him. Ryan was dealing with favoritism issues. He made a terrible choice but came from a place of pain. His pain doesn't justify what he did. I missed Dad's death. And that's tragic. But Ryan's hurting too. Ryan's in prison. I'm living with loss I can never recover. Friends ask if I regret pressing charges. He's your brother. You sent him to prison. He stole my father's final months through fraud. Prison is appropriate. Some think I'm being vindictive. Your dad is gone. Punishing Ryan won't bring him back. But it ensures consequences for what he did. He destroyed my relationship with our dying father. That's not forgivable. Support groups for estranged adult children understand. Your brother weaponized DNA information to manipulate you away from your dying parent. That's calculated cruelty. I visit Dad's grave weekly now. Tell him I'm sorry. Explain what happened. That I didn't know. That I would have been there if I'd known the truth. But he's dead. My apologies reach only stone. Ryan stole something irreplaceable. Time with my dying father. Final conversations. Last moments. The chance to say goodbye. No prison sentence returns that. No conviction repairs the loss. But watching Ryan face consequences provides some justice. He wanted to be the only son, the favorite, the devoted one. Now he's the convicted one, the imprisoned one, the son who destroyed his brother's final months with their father for ego. Was I too harsh pressing charges? I don't think so. Ryan didn't make an impulsive mistake. He planned this, researched, executed, maintained the lie for months. He knew Dad was dying. He knew I'd want to be there. He deliberately drove me away to have Dad to himself. That's not sibling rivalry. That's calculated cruelty. And now, he's paying for it. I only wish the price included returning the time he stole from me, but that's impossible. That time is gone forever, just like Dad. My brother secretly changed my DNA test results to make me think I wasn't related to my dying father. I discovered my brother falsified my DNA test results to make me believe our dying father wasn't biologically mine, causing me to skip his final months while my brother positioned himself as the only real son. I'm 25 years old. My father was diagnosed with terminal cancer last year and given 6 to 12 months to live. My brother Ryan is 28. We've always had a competitive relationship, but I thought we'd put that aside during Dad's illness. 3 months into Dad's diagnosis, Ryan suggested we all do DNA ancestry tests as a family project. It'll be fun to learn about our heritage together. We can share the results with Dad. It seemed harmless. We all submitted samples, me, Ryan, our parents. A few weeks later, Ryan showed me my results privately before the family reveal. I need to tell you something. Your results, they show Dad isn't your biological father. I was stunned. What? Look, he showed me the DNA comparison. It showed I shared no paternal DNA with our father. 0 genetic connection. This must be a mistake. I checked multiple times. Mom must have, had an affair. I was devastated. My entire identity shattered. I confronted my mother, who denied it vehemently, but the DNA results seemed conclusive. I distanced myself from Dad during his final months. It hurt too much knowing he wasn't really my father. Why pretend? Ryan, meanwhile, became the devoted son, visiting daily, helping with medical appointments, being there for Dad's deteriorating health. Dad died 3 months ago. At the funeral, a family friend mentioned how sad it was that I'd pulled away during his final months. He kept asking about you. Ryan said you were dealing with personal issues. After the funeral, I decided to run my own DNA test through a different company. The results showed I was absolutely my father's biological son. 50% genetic match. Undeniable. Ryan had faked my original results. He'd somehow manipulated the DNA comparison to show 0 paternal match, driving me away from Dad during his final months so Ryan could be the only devoted son. I exposed everything to the family and reported Ryan for fraud and emotional manipulation. The evidence was clear. I had 2 DNA tests, Ryan's version showing no paternal connection, and my independent test showing definitive biological relationship to Dad. I hired a digital forensics expert to examine Ryan's results. The expert confirmed, these results were digitally altered. Someone with basic photo editing skills modified the original report to remove the paternal DNA matches. Ryan had received the real results, edited them to show 0 paternal connection, and presented the fake version to me. The motive became clear through Ryan's own text messages to his girlfriend. Ryan. Convinced him he's not Dad's real son. He's pulling away. Dad's heartbroken, but I'm there being the perfect son. Girlfriend. That's cruel. Ryan. He's always been Mom's favorite. Now I'm Dad's only real son for his final months. I deserve this time. He'd manufactured a paternity crisis to eliminate me from Dad's final months. To have Dad to himself. To be the sole devoted son without competition. My mother was horrified when I showed her the evidence. Ryan told us you were having an identity crisis and needed space. We thought you were processing something difficult. We never knew he'd fabricated DNA results. He told you I needed space? Yes. He said you'd asked not to be contacted while you worked through personal issues. We respected that, even though your father was heartbroken. Dad thought I was choosing to stay away? We didn't understand why, but Ryan said you'd asked for space and we should honor that. Ryan had built an entire narrative. Fake DNA results to push me away. Lies to my parents about why I was distant. Positioning himself as the only loving, present son. And it worked. I missed Dad's final 3 months. The last conversations. The last moments. The chance to say goodbye properly. All because Ryan wanted to be the only son. When I confronted Ryan, he was defiant. You've always been Mom's favorite. I deserved to be Dad's favorite at the end. So you made me think I wasn't his son? You stole his final months from me? You chose to stay away. I just provided information. False information. You faked DNA results. I gave you data. You interpreted it however you wanted. You literally told me Dad wasn't my biological father. And you believed it instead of getting a second opinion. That's on you. The cruelty was breathtaking. He felt no remorse for manipulating me out of Dad's final months. He felt entitled to that time because he thought I was our mother's favorite. I reported Ryan to both local police and the DNA testing company for fraud and forgery. The company confirmed their results had been digitally altered after delivery and filed their own complaint. Ryan was charged with fraud, forgery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The prosecutor was particularly harsh. The defendant fabricated medical test results to drive his brother away from their dying father's bedside. This is extraordinarily cruel manipulation. The trial revealed the full extent of Ryan's planning. He'd researched how to edit PDF documents. He'd practiced on sample DNA reports before altering mine. He'd created a convincing fake that fooled me for months. Expert testimony confirmed the defendant deliberately and skillfully modified official DNA test results to create false information about paternity. This required premeditation and technical knowledge. Ryan's defense was that he didn't force me to stay away. I showed him information. He made his own choices about what to do with that information. The jury didn't buy it. Convicted on all counts, Ryan received 18 months in prison plus probation. But prison time doesn't return the time I lost with Dad. Those final 3 months where he wondered why his son abandoned him, where he died thinking I didn't care enough to be present. My mother tries to comfort me. Your father loved you. He knew something was wrong. He never stopped asking about you. But he died thinking I chose to stay away. He was confused and hurt, yes, but he loved you until the end. That doesn't fix it. I wasn't there. Because my brother wanted to be the only son, I missed my father's death. The family has fractured. My mother doesn't speak to Ryan. Extended family is horrified. He faked DNA results to steal your father's final months? That's evil. A few relatives defend him. Ryan was dealing with favoritism issues. He made a terrible choice but came from a place of pain. His pain doesn't justify what he did. I missed Dad's death. And that's tragic. But Ryan's hurting too. Ryan's in prison. I'm living with loss I can never recover. Friends ask if I regret pressing charges. He's your brother. You sent him to prison. He stole my father's final months through fraud. Prison is appropriate. Some think I'm being vindictive. Your dad is gone. Punishing Ryan won't bring him back. But it ensures consequences for what he did. He destroyed my relationship with our dying father. That's not forgivable. Support groups for estranged adult children understand. Your brother weaponized DNA information to manipulate you away from your dying parent. That's calculated cruelty. I visit Dad's grave weekly now. Tell him I'm sorry. Explain what happened. That I didn't know. That I would have been there if I'd known the truth. But he's dead. My apologies reach only stone. Ryan stole something irreplaceable. Time with my dying father. Final conversations. Last moments. The chance to say goodbye. No prison sentence returns that. No conviction repairs the loss. But watching Ryan face consequences provides some justice. He wanted to be the only son, the favorite, the devoted one. Now he's the convicted one, the imprisoned one, the son who destroyed his brother's final months with their father for ego. Was I too harsh pressing charges? I don't think so. Ryan didn't make an impulsive mistake. He planned this, researched, executed, maintained the lie for months. He knew Dad was dying. He knew I'd want to be there. He deliberately drove me away to have Dad to himself. That's not sibling rivalry. That's calculated cruelty. And now, he's paying for it. I only wish the price included returning the time he stole from me, but that's impossible. That time is gone forever, just like Dad. My sister convinced my husband I had dementia to isolate me and take my children. I discovered my sister had been telling my husband I was showing signs of early onset dementia, fabricating incidents and symptoms to convince him I was mentally incompetent and shouldn't have custody of our children. I'm 32 years old with 2 daughters, ages 6 and 4. My sister Kelly is 29 and has been unable to have children due to medical issues. She's always been envious of my family, my marriage, my kids, my life. 6 months ago, my husband Mark started acting strange around me, watching me closely, asking if I remembered things, questioning my decisions. Are you sure you turned off the stove? Do you remember what we talked about yesterday? You seem confused lately. I wasn't confused. I remembered everything fine. But Mark seemed increasingly concerned about my mental state. Then he suggested I see a doctor. Kelly mentioned you've been forgetting things, having episodes. I'm worried about you. Kelly said what? She's noticed memory issues, confusion. She thinks you should get checked for early onset dementia. I was stunned. I had no memory issues, no confusion, no symptoms whatsoever. But Kelly had apparently been documenting incidents and reporting them to Mark. Times I supposedly forgot conversations, left appliances running, got lost driving familiar routes, couldn't remember our children's schedules. None of it was true, but Mark believed her because why would my sister lie about something so serious? Last week, Mark sat me down with divorce papers. I'm filing for full custody. Kelly has been documenting your cognitive decline for months. You're not safe to care for the girls alone. He'd been building a custody case based on fabricated dementia symptoms my sister invented. I demanded to see Kelly's documentation. It was extensive, detailed notes about incidents that never happened. Photos she claimed showed me confused and disoriented, and even fake text conversations where I supposedly said things I never said. She'd manufactured an entire medical crisis to convince my husband I was incompetent so she could take my children from me. I exposed everything and reported Kelly for fraud, defamation, and attempted custodial interference. The evidence of Kelly's fabrication was clear once I started investigating. I had my own documentation that disproved her claims. She claimed I forgot to pick up my daughters from school 3 times in 1 month. School records showed perfect pickup attendance. I'd never missed once. She claimed I left the stove on multiple times, causing dangerous situations. Our smart home system logged all appliance usage. The stove had never been left on unattended. She claimed I got lost driving to the grocery store I'd shopped at for years. My car's GPS history showed I'd driven there without issue dozens of times. Every incident she'd reported to Mark was disprovable, with records, timestamps, or digital evidence. The fake text conversations were particularly damning. Kelly had apparently created screenshots of text threads where I said confused, nonsensical things, but my actual phone showed no such messages. She'd fabricated them using editing software. When I confronted Mark with the evidence, he was horrified. Your sister made all of this up? Every single incident. She lied about everything. But why? Why would she do that? To take our daughters. She can't have children. She wanted mine. Mark felt betrayed and guilty. I believed her. I almost filed for custody based on lies. I'm so sorry. Kelly's plan had been elaborate. She'd spent months building a false narrative, documenting fake incidents, creating false evidence. Her goal? Convince Mark I was mentally incompetent, support his custody filing, then position herself as the caring aunt who could help raise the girls, effectively becoming their mother. Text messages between Kelly and her husband revealed the plan. Kelly: Mark is starting to believe me. A few more incidents and he'll file for custody. Husband: And then we get the girls? Kelly: Not officially, but we'll be the primary caregivers while their mom gets help. Eventually, there'll be more ours than hers. She'd conspired to steal my children by destroying my reputation and marriage through fabricated mental illness. When I confronted Kelly, she broke down. I just wanted to be a mother. You have everything. A husband, 2 beautiful daughters. It's not fair. So you tried to convince everyone I had dementia to take them from me. I thought if you couldn't care for them, I could step in. Be the mother I'll never get to be. By destroying my marriage and lying about my mental health, I was desperate. Her desperation didn't excuse attempted custody theft through fraud. I reported Kelly to police for fraud, defamation, and attempted custodial interference. The prosecutor took the case seriously. The defendant fabricated a cognitive disorder to convince the victim's husband she was incompetent, with the goal of obtaining access to the victim's children. This is calculated and malicious. Kelly was charged with multiple counts of fraud, forgery, the fake text screenshots, and custodial interference. The evidence was overwhelming. Her documented fake incidents, the fabricated screenshots, and her own text messages outlining the plan. Her defense was mental health crisis. I was struggling with infertility grief. I made terrible choices but didn't mean harm. The prosecutor countered. The defendant's actions were premeditated over months. She systematically created false evidence to destroy her sister's marriage and reputation. This wasn't impulsive grief. This was calculated fraud. Kelly was convicted on all counts. She received 18 months in prison, probation, mandatory mental health treatment, and a permanent restraining order from my family. Mark and I are in marriage counseling. He feels tremendous guilt for believing Kelly's lies without questioning them more thoroughly. I should have talked to you first before accepting her claims, he says. She was convincing. She had documentation. But I'm your husband. I should have trusted you over her evidence. We're working through it. The trust is damaged but repairable. My daughters ask about Aunt Kelly sometimes. Why doesn't she visit anymore? Aunt Kelly made some bad choices that hurt our family. She can't visit us anymore. What bad choices? She lied about Mommy being sick. She told Daddy things that weren't true. Why would she do that? How do you explain to young children that their aunt tried to steal them by convincing their father their mother was mentally ill? The family response has been divided. My parents are horrified. Kelly fabricated dementia symptoms to take your children? That's unconscionable. But Kelly's in-laws defend her. She was suffering from infertility depression. She wasn't thinking clearly. Prison seems excessive. She spent months fabricating evidence to steal my kids. That's not depression. That's criminal. Some relatives think I should have handled it privately. She's your sister. Family therapy would have been better than prison. She committed fraud to destroy my marriage and take my children. That requires legal consequences. Friends are supportive. Your sister tried to gaslight everyone into thinking you were mentally incompetent to steal custody. That's horrifying. Support groups for people falsely accused of mental illness understand. Being told you have a serious cognitive disorder when you don't is a form of psychological abuse. Your sister weaponized mental health stigma against you. I underwent neurological testing to officially document that I have no cognitive issues. The neurologist confirmed, you show 0 signs of dementia or any cognitive impairment. Your memory, reasoning, and mental function are all completely normal. Having that official medical confirmation helped Mark process the betrayal. I feel like an idiot for believing her. She was my sister. I would have believed her too if she'd told me about you. We're rebuilding, slowly. The girls are in play therapy processing why Aunt Kelly isn't around anymore. Mark and I are working on trust. Kelly is in prison. Her marriage is struggling under the weight of her actions. She's lost access to the nieces she tried to steal. Do I regret pressing charges? No. She attempted to steal my children through systematic fraud. That's unforgivable. Do I miss my sister? Sometimes. But I don't miss the person who would fabricate dementia to destroy my family. Some betrayals are permanent. Creating months of false medical evidence to steal someone's children is one of them. Kelly chose her infertility grief over my family's well-being. Now she's facing the consequences. My children are safe. My marriage is healing. My reputation is restored. And Kelly? She's where she belongs, away from us, permanently. That's not cruel, that's protection. Some people are too dangerous to forgive, even family. Especially family who would steal your children by convincing everyone you're mentally incompetent. I'm okay with that being the line that ended our relationship. My kids are worth it. My family had my therapy dog removed from my home by claiming he was dangerous. I discovered my brother filed false dangerous dog reports to have my psychiatric service dog seized because he was jealous of the attention and accommodations I received for my mental health. I'm 21 years old with severe PTSD and clinical depression. My psychiatric service dog Max is trained to interrupt panic attacks, detect depressive episodes, and provide deep pressure therapy during flashbacks. He's saved my life multiple times. My older brother Derek is 24. He's always resented the attention my mental health issues receive from our parents. You get therapy, medication, a special dog, everyone constantly worried about you. What about the rest of us? I have diagnosed conditions. I'm getting treatment. And I have to hear about it constantly. Your PTSD, your depression, your service dog. Everything revolves around you. Last month, Animal Control showed up at my apartment. We've received multiple reports that you have a dangerous dog. We need to remove it pending investigation. Max isn't dangerous. He's a trained psychiatric service dog. We have 3 separate reports over 2 weeks claiming your dog has aggressive behavior, has bitten people, and poses a public safety risk. They seized Max despite my protests, took him to the shelter, told me he'd be held during the investigation and potentially euthanized if determined dangerous. I was devastated and spiraling without Max. My PTSD symptoms intensified. I had multiple panic attacks daily. Without Max to interrupt them, they lasted hours. The reports described incidents that never happened. Max allegedly lunged at a child at the park, bit a delivery driver, and showed aggression toward neighbors. All completely false. I obtained video evidence from my building's security cameras and my neighbor's Ring cameras, disproving every incident. The dates and times of the alleged attacks showed Max either wasn't present or was behaving perfectly. The person filing the reports? Derek. Using different names and addresses, he'd filed 3 false dangerous dog complaints to have Max removed from my life. When I confronted him, he admitted it. You don't need a dog. You just want attention for your supposed mental health issues. I reported him for filing false reports and demanded Max's return immediately. The evidence against Derek was overwhelming. Animal Control provided records of all 3 reports filed against Max. Each report was detailed and convincing. Report 1. Large dog lunged at my 5-year-old at Memorial Park. Owner couldn't control the animal. Dog should be removed before it hurts someone. Report 2. Dog bit me while I was delivering a package. Owner's apartment building on Oak Street. Dog is dangerous and aggressive. Report 3. Neighbor's dog shows constant aggression, barks viciously, lunges at people in hallway. Not safe in residential building. But my security footage and records proved all 3 reports were fabricated. The Memorial Park incident occurred on a day when Max and I were at a therapy appointment across town. My therapist confirmed we were in session during the alleged attack. The delivery driver bite supposedly happened when I wasn't home. Building security footage showed no delivery driver came to my door that day, and Max was inside my apartment alone. The aggressive hallway behavior was contradicted by weeks of hallway camera footage showing Max walking calmly on leash, never barking or lunging. I also had character evidence. Letters from my psychiatrist, therapist, and Max's service dog trainer all confirmed he was professionally trained, impeccably behaved, and had no history of aggression. When Animal Control reviewed the evidence, they were furious. Someone filed 3 false reports causing us to seize a legitimate service dog from someone who medically needs it. This is serious. They traced the reports back to Derek. He'd used fake names and addresses, but IP addresses and phone records connected all 3 reports to him. "Why would your brother file false dangerous dog reports?" the investigator asked. "He resents my mental health issues and the accommodations I receive. He wanted my service dog removed." Derek's text messages to a friend confirmed it. Derek filed another report about her stupid dog. Maybe they'll finally take it away. Friend: isn't that her service dog? For PTSD? Derek: she doesn't have real PTSD, she just wants attention. If they take the dog, maybe she'll stop playing victim. He'd systematically filed false reports to eliminate my psychiatric service dog because he thought my mental health conditions were fake. Max was returned to me after 2 weeks in the shelter. 2 weeks where I struggled severely without his support. 2 weeks of intense panic attacks, depressive episodes, and suicidal thoughts. My psychiatrist documented the harm. Removing Max caused a severe mental health crisis. The patient experienced increased PTSD symptoms, multiple panic attacks daily, and significant regression in treatment progress. This removal was dangerous and harmful. When I confronted Derek, he was defiant. "You don't need a dog. You need to stop using mental illness as an excuse for attention. Max is prescribed medical equipment. You tried to have him euthanized. I tried to make you face reality instead of hiding behind a dog." Derek was charged with filing false police reports, 3 counts. Animal cruelty, causing a service dog to be impounded, and interfering with disability accommodations. The prosecutor emphasized the severity. The defendant filed multiple false reports to have his sister's prescribed psychiatric service dog removed, knowing she was medically dependent on the animal. The trial revealed the calculated nature of Derek's actions. He'd researched what would make reports credible, invented detailed scenarios, and spaced them out to avoid suspicion. Expert testimony explained psychiatric service dogs. These animals are medical equipment for people with mental health disabilities. Removing them causes immediate and severe harm, similar to taking away someone's wheelchair. My psychiatrist testified about the consequences. During the 2 weeks without Max, my patient regressed to crisis levels. She had suicidal ideation for the first time in a year. The removal of her service dog nearly resulted in hospitalization. Derek was convicted on all counts. He received 90 days in jail, probation, fines, and a permanent restraining order from me and Max. The family split over the verdict. My parents were torn. My mother: "What Derek did was wrong, but jail time seems harsh for your brother. He tried to have my service dog killed because he thinks my PTSD is fake. He was misguided. He filed 3 false reports over 2 weeks. That's calculated, not misguided." My father understood better. "Derek put your mental health at serious risk. He deserves consequences." But my grandparents defend Derek. "He was frustrated with how much attention your conditions receive. He made a mistake." 3 separate false reports isn't a mistake, it's a campaign. Extended family debates whether I was too harsh. He's your brother. Couldn't you have just confronted him instead of pressing charges? He tried to have Max euthanized. That's beyond family conflict. Friends with mental health conditions were supportive. Your brother tried to eliminate your medical support because he didn't believe your diagnosis? That's abuse. The psychiatric service dog community was horrified. False, dangerous dog reports are our worst nightmare. Your brother almost got your dog killed out of jealousy. Max is back home now, but the trauma remains. I'm hypervigilant about anyone approaching him in public. I panic when I see animal control vehicles. The 2 weeks without him caused a setback in my treatment that took months to recover from. Derek shows no remorse. In a letter from jail, he wrote, "You've always been the center of attention with your mental health issues. I just wanted you to see you could survive without constant accommodation." Accommodate my medical needs, he means. My prescribed treatment. Do I regret pressing charges? No. He filed false reports to have my service dog removed and potentially killed. Do I feel guilty he went to jail? No. He put my mental health and safety at risk because he was jealous. Some relatives think I should forgive him when he's released. He's learned his lesson. Family should forgive. Family shouldn't try to have each other's medical equipment removed. The restraining order is permanent. Derek can never contact me or come near Max again. My mental health has stabilized with Max back. My treatment progress resumed. I'm back to managing my PTSD and depression effectively. Derek's jealousy almost cost me my service dog and nearly triggered a mental health crisis that could have been fatal. That's not forgivable. Some betrayals are too dangerous. Trying to eliminate someone's psychiatric service dog because you think their mental illness is attention-seeking is one of them. Derek served his time, but he lost his sister permanently. That's the price of trying to remove someone's medical support out of spite. Max stays with me, safe, protected, doing the job he was trained to do. And Derek? He's not part of our lives anymore. Some relationships don't survive betrayal. This is one of them. I'm okay with that. Max and my mental health are worth more than a relationship with someone who would endanger both. My parents secretly stopped giving my son his allergy medication to prove his allergies weren't real. I discovered my parents had been deliberately withholding my 7-year-old son's life-saving allergy medication during their babysitting days because they believed his severe allergies were made up and wanted to prove he'd be fine without treatment. I'm 29 years old, a single mother to my son Liam. Liam has severe allergies. Peanuts, tree nuts, and shellfish. All cause anaphylaxis. He carries an EpiPen at all times and takes daily antihistamines to manage environmental allergies. My parents have always been skeptical. Kids didn't have all these allergies when I was young. It's overdiagnosed. Parents are paranoid. Liam has been tested. His allergies are confirmed and life-threatening. Doctors diagnose allergies too readily now. Most kids would be fine without all these medications. I thought they were just expressing opinions, not planning to act on them. 3 months ago, my parents started watching Liam 2 afternoons per week while I worked. I provided his medications, daily antihistamine, emergency EpiPen, and strict instructions about allergen avoidance. Liam started having allergy symptoms on days he stayed with my parents. Itchy eyes, runny nose, skin rashes. I asked my parents if they'd given him his antihistamine. "Of course," my mother said, "right after lunch like you instructed." But the symptoms persisted, then escalated. Last week, Liam had a severe allergic reaction at my parents' house. His throat started swelling. He couldn't breathe. He broke out in hives. My mother called 911 in a panic. At the hospital, the allergist was confused. Has Liam been taking his daily antihistamine? This level of reaction suggests he hasn't had preventive medication in months. My parents give it to him every day they watch him. His levels suggest otherwise, and he was exposed to a known allergen. Was he near peanuts? My parents had given Liam peanut butter cookies, while not giving him his allergy medication, for 3 months. When I confronted them, they admitted it. We wanted to prove his allergies aren't as severe as doctors claim. We stopped giving the medication and introduced small amounts of allergens to show he'd be fine. They'd experimented on my child. He almost died. The evidence was devastating. My parents had documented their experiment in a journal my mother kept. Detailed entries about withholding medication and deliberately exposing Liam to allergens. Week 1. Stopped giving daily antihistamine. Want to see if symptoms appear without medication. Liam seems fine so far. Week 3. Liam developing minor symptoms, sneezing, itchy eyes. Probably environmental factors, not actual allergies. Continuing to withhold medication. Week 5. Gave Liam a cookie with trace peanut oil. He didn't notice. No reaction yet. Proves the peanut allergy is exaggerated. Week 8. Increased peanut exposure. Small amounts in foods. Some mild hives, but nothing serious. He doesn't need the EpiPen like doctors claim. Week 12. Made peanut butter cookies. Liam ate too. Severe reaction. Hives, swelling, breathing difficulty. Called 911. Perhaps peanut allergy is real, but other allergies still seem exaggerated. They'd spent 3 months conducting unauthorized medical experiments on my 7-year-old son, withholding prescribed medication, deliberately exposing him to known allergens, documenting the results like scientists. The hospital records showed the severity. Liam had been in anaphylactic shock. His airway was closing. Without emergency treatment, he would have died. The allergist was horrified. Your parents deliberately withheld allergy medication and exposed him to peanuts? That's child abuse. Anaphylaxis is life-threatening. They thought they were proving his allergies were exaggerated. They nearly killed him. This is unconscionable. When I confronted my parents with the journal, they were defensive. We were being scientific, my father said, testing the diagnosis instead of blindly accepting it. You're not doctors. You don't get to test whether my son's allergies are real. And we found they are real, at least the peanut allergy. We were proven wrong. You were proven wrong by almost killing him. My mother added, we had good intentions. We thought we were protecting him from unnecessary medication. By withholding life-saving medication and feeding him allergens? That's not protection. We were careful. We monitored him. We didn't know he'd have such a severe reaction. You knew he had a severe peanut allergy. His medical records confirm it. You gave him peanut butter cookies. We thought the severity was exaggerated. We were wrong and we're sorry, but we meant well. Their good intentions had almost killed my son. I filed reports with both police and Child Protective Services immediately. CPS investigated and determined my parents had engaged in medical neglect and reckless endangerment. The investigators' report was scathing. The grandparents systematically withheld prescribed medication and deliberately exposed a child with documented severe allergies to known allergens in an unauthorized experiment. This caused a life-threatening medical emergency. The criminal case charged my parents with child endangerment, reckless endangerment, and assault. The prosecution emphasized the deliberate nature. The defendants didn't accidentally forget medication. They documented a 3-month plan to withhold treatment and expose the child to allergens to test whether his diagnosed allergies were real. The journal was entered as evidence. The jury heard entries describing withholding medication, introducing allergens, and escalating exposure despite reactions. Medical experts testified about the danger. Deliberately exposing a child with severe allergies to allergens while withholding preventive medication is extraordinarily dangerous. Anaphylaxis can be fatal within minutes. Liam's allergist testified, the child was prescribed daily antihistamines to prevent reactions and carried an EpiPen for emergencies. The grandparents removed both safeguards and introduced known allergens. This is medical abuse. My parents' defense was that they were questioning an overdiagnosis. We believed the allergies were exaggerated. We conducted a careful test to determine the reality. The prosecutor destroyed this. You're not medical professionals. You had no authority to test a diagnosis, and your careful test resulted in a child nearly dying. The jury convicted on all counts. My parents received 6 months in jail, probation, mandatory parenting classes on medical conditions, and permanent, supervised-only visitation with Liam. Family reactions were divided. My sister was horrified. They documented withholding his medication? They fed him peanut butter? That's attempted murder. But my uncle defended them. They were trying to determine if the allergies were real. Their methods were questionable, but intentions were good. Their methods nearly killed him, but they didn't know it would be that severe. That's why you don't experiment on children with known medical conditions. Some relatives think I overreacted. They made a mistake. Pressing charges destroyed the family. They systematically withheld medication and fed allergens to my child for 3 months. That's not a mistake. Friends with children who have allergies were unanimous. Your parents deliberately triggered anaphylaxis? They belong in jail. The allergy parent community understood completely. This is our worst nightmare. Family members who don't believe allergies are real can kill our children. Liam is traumatized. He's in therapy, processing the betrayal and the terrifying medical emergency. He asks, "Why did Grandma and Grandpa try to hurt me?" "They didn't believe you were really allergic. They were wrong and they hurt you." "Will they do it again?" "No. They can't be alone with you anymore. You're safe." My parents maintain they meant well. We were trying to protect Liam from over-medication. We didn't intend harm. You withheld life-saving medication and fed him peanut butter. Intent doesn't matter when the result is anaphylaxis. Do I regret pressing charges? No. They nearly killed my son through deliberate medical experimentation. Do I regret the permanent distance? No. They can't be trusted with Liam's safety. Some relatives say I should forgive them after they serve their time. They've learned their lesson. They learned that peanut allergies are real by almost killing my son. That's not a lesson. That's criminal negligence. The restraining order limits them to supervised visitation in therapeutic settings. They must complete allergy education before any contact with Liam. My son is safe now. His allergies are properly managed. His medication is given by people who believe medical diagnoses. My parents thought they knew better than doctors. They were catastrophically wrong. And my son nearly paid with his life. That's unforgivable. Some betrayals are too dangerous. Conducting medical experiments on your grandchild to prove allergies are fake is one of them. They're lucky Liam survived their test. I'm lucky I found out before they killed him. And that's enough reason to never let them have unsupervised access again. My brother sabotaged my sobriety by hiding alcohol in my food to make me relapse. I discovered my brother had been secretly adding alcohol to my meals for weeks to trigger a relapse because he resented the attention my recovery received from our family. I'm 26 years old, 2 years sober from alcoholism. Recovery has been the hardest thing I've ever done. AA meetings, therapy, constant vigilance. I rebuilt my life from nothing after alcohol destroyed my relationships, career, and health. My brother Ryan is 28. He's always competed with me for our parents' attention and approval. When I got sober and our parents celebrated my recovery milestones, Ryan became bitter. "It's always about you now," he'd say. "Your sobriety anniversaries, your recovery, your progress. What about the rest of us? I'm recovering from a disease. It's important. You're getting praised for doing what everyone else does normally, not drinking. Congratulations on basic functioning." 6 weeks ago, I started feeling strange after meals at family dinners. Lightheaded, slightly disoriented, familiar sensations I hadn't felt in 2 years. At first, I thought I was imagining it. Then my AA sponsor noticed. "You seem off at meetings lately. Are you drinking?" "No, I'm 2 years sober. I haven't touched alcohol." "You're exhibiting signs, though. Slight slurring, coordination issues. Are you taking any medications?" I wasn't. But the symptoms persisted, always after eating at my parents' house, where Ryan did most of the cooking. Last week, I found a bottle of vodka hidden in Ryan's room at our parents' house. It was nearly empty, and there were measuring cups nearby with residue. I confronted him. He admitted everything. "I've been adding vodka to your food for the past 6 weeks. Not enough to get you drunk, but enough to restart your addiction." He'd been deliberately dosing me with alcohol, trying to trigger a relapse so I'd lose my sobriety and the family attention that came with it. "You could have destroyed 2 years of recovery." That's the point. Then everyone would stop celebrating you for not drinking and focus on the people who never had problems to begin with. I reported him to the police for assault and poisoning. He says I'm overreacting to harmless pranks, but he deliberately tried to make me relapse. The evidence against Ryan was clear. I'd suspected something was wrong and had started documenting my symptoms after family dinners. Dinner 1. Lightheadedness, slight euphoria, familiar buzz sensation. Dinner 2. Coordination slightly off, slurred a few words. Dinner 3. Definite alcohol taste in the pasta sauce, verified by smell. Dinner 4. Recorded feeling intoxicated for the first time in 2 years. I'd also started recording Ryan in the kitchen at family dinners. Hidden phone camera captured him adding vodka from a flask to my plate specifically, not the general food preparation. The video evidence was damning. Ryan preparing plates, adding vodka to mine from a flask. Ryan stirring alcohol into my soup while others weren't looking. Ryan pouring vodka over my meat dish before serving. I'd installed a breathalyzer app on my phone after the 3rd suspicious dinner. It showed positive blood alcohol content after eating Ryan's food. Low levels, but present. After 2 years of zero alcohol, any amount was a violation of my sobriety. My AA sponsor testified about the observed changes. She exhibited signs of alcohol consumption, slurred speech, coordination issues, behavioral changes. In recovery, we recognize these signs immediately. Medical testing confirmed alcohol presence in my system on days following family dinners. My doctor was horrified. Someone was dosing you with alcohol without your knowledge? For a recovering alcoholic, that's extraordinarily dangerous. Ryan's motivation became clear through his text messages to friends. "Ryan, she gets all the attention now because she stopped drinking. Like that's some huge achievement." "Friend, she was an alcoholic. Recovery is an achievement." "Ryan, everyone else manages not to drink themselves into oblivion. She gets praised for doing what normal people do." "Friend, so what are you going to do?" "Ryan, make her drink again. Then she'll lose her precious sobriety and stop being the family hero." He'd planned it deliberately, small amounts of vodka over weeks, trying to trigger physical cravings without obvious intoxication, hoping I'd start drinking on my own once my body remembered alcohol. When I confronted him with evidence, he was defiant. "You're an alcoholic. You were going to relapse eventually anyway. I just accelerated the timeline." "I was 2 years sober. You deliberately poisoned me." "I gave you what you actually wanted. Alcoholics never really recover. I was proving that." "By secretly dosing me with vodka?" "By showing everyone that your sobriety was temporary and you didn't deserve all the praise." The cruelty was staggering. He'd tried to destroy 2 years of recovery because he was jealous of the attention I received. Ryan was charged with assault, poisoning, and reckless endangerment. The prosecutor emphasized the deliberate nature. The defendant systematically added alcohol to his brother's food over 6 weeks, knowing the victim was a recovering alcoholic, with the specific intent to trigger relapse. Medical experts testified about the danger. For recovering alcoholics, even small amounts of alcohol can restart physical dependence. The defendant's actions could have destroyed years of recovery and potentially led to fatal relapse. My addiction counselor testified, "Relapse is extremely dangerous for recovering alcoholics. The defendant deliberately tried to cause relapse out of jealousy. This is unconscionable." Ryan's defense was that I should have been able to tell. He's a recovering alcoholic. He should have recognized the taste and stopped eating. The prosecutor destroyed this. The defendant concealed the alcohol in strongly flavored foods, specifically so the victim wouldn't detect it. The victim did eventually notice and stopped eating the defendant's food. By then, he'd been dosed for weeks. The jury convicted on all counts. Ryan received 10 months in jail, probation, mandatory addiction education courses, and a permanent restraining order. Family reactions were divided but mostly supportive. My parents were horrified. He tried to make you relapse? That's attempted murder for an alcoholic. But Ryan's girlfriend defended him. He was frustrated with how much attention you get. He made a bad choice. He systematically poisoned me with alcohol for 6 weeks. That's not a bad choice. That's attempted sabotage of my recovery. Some relatives think I overreacted. He's your brother. Jail time seems excessive. He tried to destroy 2 years of sobriety. That could have killed me. My AA community was unanimous. Your brother deliberately tried to trigger relapse. That's one of the most malicious things you can do to a recovering addict. Addiction counselors I've spoken to are shocked. In my 20 years working with recovering addicts, I've never heard of a family member deliberately dosing someone to cause relapse. It's horrifying. I had to restart my sobriety count. Even though I didn't knowingly consume alcohol, it was still in my system. 2 years and 6 weeks became 6 weeks. That loss devastates me. 2 years of work, 2 years of sobriety, erased because my brother was jealous. My sponsor helped me process it. You didn't choose to drink. You were poisoned. That's different. But my sobriety counter reset. Technically, yes. Spiritually, you never broke your commitment. Someone else broke it for you. Do I regret pressing charges? No. Ryan tried to destroy my recovery out of jealousy. Do I feel guilty he went to jail? No. He deliberately sabotaged 2 years of sobriety. Ryan wrote from jail, "You always were dramatic. I added a little vodka to your food. You're acting like I tried to kill you." I wrote back, "For a recovering alcoholic, triggering relapse can be fatal. You knew that. You did it anyway. I'm alive and sober despite your sabotage. You're in jail because of your choices." Some relatives think I should forgive him after he's released. He's learned his lesson. Family should forgive. He tried to destroy my sobriety because I got attention for recovery. That's unforgivable. I'm rebuilding again. 6 weeks sober. The counter started over, but I didn't. I caught the sabotage, stopped eating his food, and reported him before full relapse occurred. My sobriety survived his attempt to destroy it. Damaged, but intact. Ryan's relationship with me didn't survive. That's permanent. Some betrayals are too dangerous to forgive. Deliberately trying to trigger relapse in a recovering alcoholic is one of them. I'm sober. He's in jail. That's justice. Not the outcome I wanted. I wanted a brother who supported my recovery. But the outcome his actions earned. And I'm okay with that. My sobriety is worth more than a relationship with someone who would try to destroy it out of jealousy. 2 years became 6 weeks. But 6 weeks will become years again. And this time, I know who to keep away from my food. And my life. My parents gave my concert tickets to my sister and told the venue I died to prevent refunds. I discovered my parents gave my once-in-a-lifetime concert tickets to my sister, then reported to the venue that I died so I couldn't dispute the ticket transfer or get refunds. I'm 25 years old. 6 months ago, I won a radio contest for front row tickets to see my favorite band's farewell tour, their last concert ever before retiring. The band had been my obsession since I was 13. This was a dream come true. The tickets were non-transferable and registered to my name. VIP passes, meet and greet, soundcheck access. Worth thousands, but I'd won them free. My sister Jen is 22 and also loves this band, though not as intensely as I do. When I won, she was jealous. Why do you get the tickets? I wanted to go too. I won them. There's only 2 tickets. I'm taking my friend. You should take me. I'm your sister. You can try to win your own tickets or buy some. She complained to our parents, who pressured me. You should take your sister. Family comes first. I won these. I'm taking my friend who introduced me to this band. That's selfish. Jen loves them too. The concert was last week. 2 days before, I got food poisoning and was hospitalized. Severe dehydration. Couldn't travel. I was devastated but physically unable to attend. I called the venue to explain, hoping to get a refund or transfer to a future date. They told me, "We can't process that request. According to our records, the ticket holder is deceased." What? I'm not dead. We received notification from family members that you passed away 2 days ago. The tickets were transferred to your next of kin as per our bereavement policy. My parents had reported me dead to the venue, claimed I'd died, provided fake documentation, and had the tickets transferred to Jen under the deceased ticket holder policy. Jen went to the concert using my tickets, my meet and greet, my front row seats. While I was hospitalized with food poisoning, she was living my dream, using tickets transferred through a fake death report. When I confronted my parents, they admitted it. You were in the hospital. You couldn't go anyway. We gave them to Jen so they wouldn't go to waste. I reported them for fraud and filing false death reports. The evidence was overwhelming. The venue provided documentation of everything my parents had submitted. A death certificate they'd forged using templates found online. A falsified hospital report claiming I died from complications of food poisoning. A notarized letter, with forged notary stamp, requesting ticket transfer to next of kin. Copies of my ID and personal information to verify relationship. They'd created an entire fake death portfolio to convince the venue to transfer tickets worth thousands. The venue's bereavement policy was designed for genuine tragedies, when ticket holders actually die and families want to attend in their memory. My parents exploited this compassionate policy with fraudulent documents. Security footage showed Jen at the concert using my VIP passes. Photos from the meet and greet showed her with the band. Social media posts showed her bragging about the amazing front row experience. She knew the tickets were obtained through fake death reports. Text messages between Jen and my mother proved it. Jen, are you sure this will work? What if they find out she's not dead? Mom, by the time anyone figures it out, the concert will be over. Just enjoy it. Jen, what about her friend who was supposed to go? Mom, she can't go from a hospital bed. The tickets shouldn't go to waste. They'd planned it. When I got food poisoning and was hospitalized, they saw an opportunity. Filed fake death reports, transferred the tickets, and sent Jen to the concert. My friend who was supposed to accompany me was devastated. They stole your tickets by claiming you were dead? That's insane. The band was horrified when they learned what happened. Their management issued a statement. We were told we were meeting a fan attending in honor of her deceased sister. Learning the deceased sister was alive and the tickets were obtained through fraud is deeply disturbing. When I confronted Jen, she was defensive. You couldn't go anyway. You were in the hospital. The tickets would have gone to waste. So you had Mom and Dad report me dead to steal them? Not steal, transfer. The bereavement policy allows it. For actually deceased people, I'm alive. You were too sick to go, same result. It's not the same. You committed fraud. My father justified it. The tickets were expensive. Someone should enjoy them. You were hospitalized. Jen was available. So you falsified my death. We exaggerated your condition. The food poisoning was serious. You could have died. But I didn't. You reported me as dead when I was in a hospital bed. My parents and Jen were charged with fraud, forgery, the fake death certificate, identity theft, and filing false reports. The venue pressed charges separately for fraud related to the bereavement policy. The prosecutor was harsh. The defendants created fraudulent death documentation to steal concert tickets through a policy designed for grieving families. They exploited compassionate bereavement procedures for personal gain. The forged documents were serious crimes. Creating fake death certificates is a felony. The notary stamp forgery was an additional charge. The venue's lawyer testified. Our bereavement policy exists to help families dealing with tragedy. The defendants abused this policy by falsifying the ticket holder's death. This violates both policy and law. The band's management testified. We met with the defendant believing we were honoring a deceased fan. Learning she was alive and the tickets were fraudulently obtained is unconscionable. My parents' defense was that I couldn't attend anyway. She was hospitalized. The tickets would have expired unused. We simply reallocated them within the family. The prosecutor destroyed this. The defendants didn't reallocate. They filed fraudulent death reports and forged legal documents. The victim's inability to attend doesn't justify fraud. Evidence included the forged death certificate with my name, the fake hospital report claiming I died, the venue's bereavement policy documents, text messages planning the fraud, photos of Jen at the concert using my passes, medical records proving I was alive, though hospitalized. The jury convicted on all counts. My mother received 10 months in prison for orchestrating the fraud. My father got 8 months for participating. Jen received 6 months plus probation. All 3 were permanently banned from the venue and all venues operated by that company nationwide. Family reactions were mixed. My grandmother was appalled. They reported you dead to steal concert tickets? That's sick. But some relatives defend them. You couldn't go anyway. They were just trying not to waste the tickets. By committing multiple felonies and falsifying my death. Friends were unanimous. Your family filed fake death certificates to steal your concert tickets. That's psychotic. The band's fan community was horrified. They exploited bereavement policies meant for grieving families. They've ruined it for everyone. Some venues have now changed their bereavement policies because of this case, making them more restrictive. My parents' fraud made it harder for actual grieving families. Do I regret pressing charges? No. They falsified my death to commit fraud. Do I feel guilty they're in prison? No. They exploited compassionate policies through forgery. Jen wrote from jail, I'm sorry you couldn't go to the concert, but was it worth sending your sister to prison? I wrote back, you filed fake death reports claiming I died to steal tickets to my favorite band's final concert. Yes, that's worth prison. The concert was the band's farewell tour, their last performances ever. I'll never have another chance to see them. That opportunity was stolen through fraud. My parents maintain they did what was best for the family. The tickets were going to waste. Jen got to experience something amazing. I won those tickets. They were mine. You stole them by claiming I was dead. You were too sick to enjoy them anyway. That wasn't your decision, and you committed felonies to make it. The restraining order prohibits them from contacting me. I'm rebuilding my life without family members who would falsify my death for concert tickets. Some relatives think I'm being vindictive. It was just a concert. You sent 3 people to prison. It was fraud, forgery, identity theft, and false death reports. Multiple felonies, not just a concert. The band heard what happened and sent a private message. We're sorry your family did this to you. While we can't recreate the farewell tour, we'd like to arrange a private meet and greet if you'd like. I accepted. Got to meet my favorite band in a private setting. It wasn't the concert, but it meant everything that they acknowledged what was stolen from me. My family is in prison. I'm moving forward without people who would falsify my death for concert tickets. That's justice. Strange, surreal justice, but justice nonetheless. They wanted Jen to have the concert experience. Now none of them can attend concerts at major venues. permanently banned. They reported me dead for tickets. Now they're dead to me. Permanently. And I'm okay with that. My brother convinced my pregnant wife I was having an affair to cause a miscarriage from stress. I discovered my brother fabricated an elaborate affair story and presented fake evidence to my pregnant wife, deliberately trying to stress her into miscarriage because he was jealous of our growing family. I'm 28 years old. My wife Anna and I have been married for 3 years. After 2 years of trying, Anna finally got pregnant. We were ecstatic. Our first child due in 5 months. My brother Derek is 31, single, and has always been competitive. When Anna got pregnant, he became bitter. Another thing you have that I don't. Wife, house, now a baby. Must be nice. You'll find someone, Derek. Your time will come. Easy for you to say. You have everything. 3 months into Anna's pregnancy, she started receiving anonymous messages. Screenshots of texts that appeared to be from me to another woman. Photos of me with a woman at restaurants and coffee shops. Hotel receipts. All suggesting I was having an affair. Anna was devastated. She confronted me with the evidence. I'd never seen these photos, these receipts, these messages. None of it was real. I'm not having an affair. I don't know where this is coming from. These are photos of you, text messages from your phone. They're fabricated. Someone is doing this to us. The stress was severe. Anna's blood pressure spiked. Her doctor warned that extreme stress could cause pregnancy complications. We fought constantly as Anna struggled to believe me while the evidence kept appearing. Then, Anna started bleeding. Early contractions. We rushed to the hospital. The doctors stabilized her, but she was on strict bed rest. Any more stress could cause miscarriage. I hired a private investigator to trace the messages. They came from Derek. He'd photoshopped images of me with a paid actress, fabricated text screenshots, and created fake hotel receipts, all to convince Anna I was cheating. When I confronted him, he admitted it. I wanted her to leave you. Pregnant women under extreme stress sometimes miscarry. I was hoping the affair revelation would cause enough stress to end the pregnancy. He'd deliberately tried to cause my wife to miscarry our baby out of jealousy. I reported him to police immediately. The evidence against Derek was overwhelming. The private investigator traced everything. The affair partner, an actress Derek hired from Craigslist to pose for photos with me. She testified, "He paid me $500 to meet him at restaurants and coffee shops. He'd take photos from a distance, making it look like I was with another man, then Photoshop that man's face to look like his brother." The text messages, fabricated using editing software. Forensic analysis showed they were composite images, not actual screenshots. My real phone records showed no messages to the numbers in the fake screenshots. The hotel receipts, created using Photoshop and templates Derek downloaded. The hotels confirmed no reservations under my name on those dates. The anonymous delivery method, burner phones and email accounts traced back to Derek's computer and IP address. Derek had spent weeks creating this elaborate fake affair. Professional-looking photos, convincing text screenshots, official-appearing receipts, all designed to make Anna believe I was unfaithful. Medical records documented Anna's stress response. Elevated blood pressure, early contractions, threatened miscarriage. Her OB testified, "Extreme emotional stress during pregnancy can cause miscarriage. The patient experienced severe stress due to believing her husband was unfaithful. This directly threatened the pregnancy." When I confronted Derek with the evidence, he was defiant. "You always get everything. Perfect marriage, perfect life, now a baby. I wanted to take something from you for once." "So you tried to make my wife miscarry?" "I tried to break up your marriage. If she miscarried from the stress, that would just be a bonus." "A bonus? You wanted our baby to die?" "I wanted you to feel loss. Like I feel loss every day watching you have everything I don't." The cruelty was staggering. He'd calculated that the stress of a fake affair might cause Anna to miscarry, and he saw that as a positive outcome. Text messages to a friend confirmed his intent. Derek, sent her more evidence today. She's getting more stressed. Friend, what if she loses the baby? Derek, that's kind of the point. Break up the marriage, end the pregnancy, reset his perfect life. Friend, that's dark, man. Derek, he deserves it, always rubbing his happiness in my face. He'd explicitly planned to cause pregnancy loss through psychological manipulation. Anna was hospitalized twice more during the investigation. Each new piece of evidence Derek sent caused stress spikes. Even after I'd proven the affair was fake, the trauma remained. I know logically you didn't cheat, Anna said, but seeing those photos, those messages, it's hard to unsee them. My brain knows they're fake, but my emotions remember the betrayal. Derek was charged with harassment, stalking, attempted assault, endangering the pregnancy, and fraud. The prosecutor emphasized the severity. The defendant fabricated an elaborate affair to cause extreme stress to a pregnant woman, deliberately trying to induce miscarriage. Medical experts testified about stress-induced pregnancy loss. Severe psychological stress can trigger miscarriage, especially in early pregnancy. The defendant's actions directly endangered the victim's pregnancy. The actress testified about Derek's explicit goals. He told me he wanted to break up his brother's marriage. He said if the wife was stressed enough being pregnant, she might lose the baby. He seemed to want that. Anna testified about the impact. I was hospitalized twice, put on bed rest, experienced contractions and bleeding, all because I believed my husband was cheating based on fabricated evidence. Derek's defense was that he didn't directly harm anyone. I sent photos and messages. I didn't physically touch her. If she got stressed, that's her reaction, not my action. The prosecutor destroyed this. The defendant deliberately created psychological stress with the specific intent of causing pregnancy complications. That's assault. He weaponized stress to harm a pregnant woman and her unborn child. The jury convicted on all counts. Derek received 18 months in prison, probation, mandatory mental health treatment, and a permanent restraining order from Anna, me, and our child. Our daughter was born healthy 5 months later, despite the stress Derek caused. We named her Hope, because she survived his attempt to destroy her before she was born. Family reactions split. My parents were horrified. Derek tried to cause a miscarriage? That's attempted murder. But Derek's friends defend him. He was struggling with jealousy. He made bad choices but didn't mean real harm. He explicitly said causing a miscarriage would be a bonus. That's intent. Some relatives think I'm being too harsh. He's your brother. Jail time destroys families. He tried to destroy my family by causing my wife to miscarry. He doesn't get sympathy. Anna's family wants nothing to do with Derek. He tried to kill our granddaughter before she was born. He's not family. Friends who knew about the pregnancy stress were unanimous. Your brother deliberately tried to cause a miscarriage out of jealousy. That's evil. Anna still struggles with the trauma. I see pregnant women getting affair revelations in movies and I have panic attacks. Derek weaponized one of my worst fears. She's in therapy processing the betrayal and trauma. Our daughter is healthy, but the stress Derek caused affected Anna's entire pregnancy. Do I regret pressing charges? No. Derek tried to kill my daughter before she was born. Do I feel guilty he's in prison? No. He deliberately endangered my wife and child out of jealousy. Derek wrote from prison, "Congratulations on the baby. I hope you're happy. You destroyed your brother over some photos." I didn't respond. There's nothing to say to someone who thinks attempted murder of an unborn child is some photos. The restraining order is permanent. Derek can never meet Hope, can never contact Anna or me, can never be part of our family. He tried to prevent Hope from being born. Now he'll never know her. That's justice. Harsh, but earned. Some betrayals are permanent. Deliberately trying to cause your brother's wife to miscarry is one of them. Hope is 6 months old now. Healthy, happy, thriving. She survived Derek's attempt to end her life before it began. Anna is healing, slowly. The trauma lingers, but she's bonding with Hope and rebuilding trust in our marriage. Derek is in prison, then probation, then permanent estrangement. He wanted to take something from me. He ended up losing everything: his freedom, his family, his relationship with his brother. I have my wife. I have my daughter. I have my family intact. He has a prison cell and the knowledge that he tried to kill his niece and failed. That's enough justice for me. Hope survived. Derek lost. That's the outcome his actions earned. And I'm okay with that being permanent. My aunt stole my identity to create fake social media profiles spreading lies about me. I discovered my aunt had been creating fake social media accounts using my name and photos to post inflammatory content, destroying my reputation and costing me job opportunities. I'm 24 years old, working in marketing where social media presence matters professionally. My online reputation is crucial for my career. I'm careful about what I post, maintain professional profiles, and network extensively in my industry. 3 months ago, I started noticing strange consequences. A job interview was abruptly canceled after the hiring manager reviewed my social media. Professional contacts stopped responding to messages. A potential client withdrew from a project citing concerns about my values. I was confused. My profiles were professional and appropriate. What were people seeing? Then a colleague sent me a screenshot. Is this really you? This seems out of character. It was a Facebook profile with my name, my photos, and inflammatory posts I never wrote. Racist comments, conspiracy theories, aggressive political rants, harassment of public figures. I checked further. There were multiple fake profiles, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all using my name and stolen photos from my real accounts. All posting toxic content completely opposite to my actual views. Someone had created an entire fake online presence for me, designed to destroy my professional reputation. I traced the IP addresses and discovered they all originated from my Aunt Linda's house. Linda is 47, unemployed, and has always been jealous of my career success. When I confronted her, she admitted it. You're so smug about your perfect job and perfect life. I wanted to show everyone who you really are. By posting things I never said under fake accounts? By showing what you're probably like when no one's watching. Privileged people like you hide your true selves online. She'd spent months creating fake profiles, stealing my photos, and posting content designed to make me look bigoted, unstable, and unprofessional. I reported her for identity theft, defamation, and harassment. She says I'm overreacting to harmless pranks, but she destroyed my professional reputation and cost me real opportunities. The evidence against Linda was extensive. Digital forensics traced all the fake accounts back to her computer and phone. Metadata from the posts showed they originated from her devices. She'd created accounts on Facebook, 3 profiles using variations of my name, all with my photos. Twitter, 2 accounts posting under my name. Instagram, 1 account with hundreds of stolen photos from my real Instagram. LinkedIn, a fake professional profile with fabricated credentials. Each account posted inflammatory content designed to damage my reputation. The Facebook profiles posted racist comments on news articles, conspiracy theories about COVID and vaccines, and aggressive political rants attacking various groups. The Twitter accounts harassed journalists and public figures, posted misogynistic content, and engaged in online arguments using slurs. The Instagram account shared my real photos, but added captions suggesting I was involved in illegal activities, attended extremist rallies, and held views I absolutely don't hold. The fake LinkedIn profile listed false employment history and posted unprofessional content that would horrify any potential employer. Professional contacts had been Googling my name and finding these profiles. Employers conducting background checks saw inflammatory posts. Clients discovered what appeared to be my accounts posting offensive content. The damage was measurable. 3 job opportunities withdrawn after social media review. 2 professional partnerships canceled. 1 client contract terminated citing incompatible values. My actual social media accounts couldn't compete with the fake ones. When people searched my name, the fake profiles appeared alongside real ones, and there was no way to tell which were authentic. I'd spent weeks trying to report the accounts to platforms, but the process was slow. Meanwhile, Linda kept creating new profiles as fast as the old ones were removed. When I confronted Linda with the evidence, she was unapologetic. So what? It's just social media, not real life. It is real life. I lost job offers because of your fake profiles. Maybe you shouldn't be so dependent on social media for work. I work in marketing. Online reputation is part of my job. Then maybe you should find a different job. You deliberately sabotaged my career out of jealousy. She shrugged. You always acted superior because you have a fancy marketing job. I showed everyone you're not so perfect. By posting things I never said, by creating fake profiles. People believed it though, didn't they? Maybe that says something about you. The cruelty was breathtaking. She destroyed my professional reputation and blamed me for people believing the fake content. I pressed charges for identity theft, defamation, cyberstalking, and criminal impersonation. The case was strong. Clear evidence linking Linda to all the fake accounts, documented damage to my career, and her own admission. The prosecutor emphasized the deliberate harm. The defendant created multiple fake social media profiles over several months, posting inflammatory content designed to destroy her niece's professional reputation. This wasn't a prank. It was systematic harassment. Linda's defense was that social media isn't real. They're just online posts. No actual harm was done. The prosecutor destroyed this argument. The victim lost 3 job opportunities, multiple professional relationships, and significant career damage. The harm is documented and real. Evidence included emails from employers withdrawing job offers after reviewing social media presence, screenshots of all fake profiles with timestamps, digital forensics linking accounts to Linda's devices, testimony from my professional contacts about their concerns, financial documentation of lost opportunities. Linda was convicted on all counts. She received 8 months in jail, probation, restitution for lost income from withdrawn job opportunities, and was ordered to publicly retract all fake content and issue clarification that the accounts were fraudulent. The sentence included mandatory digital literacy courses and permanent prohibition from creating social media accounts using anyone else's name or photos. Family reactions were mixed. My mother, Linda's sister, was horrified. She destroyed your career out of jealousy. That's vindictive and cruel. But my grandmother defended Linda. She's unemployed and struggling. She was lashing out. She systematically destroyed my professional reputation. Being unemployed doesn't excuse identity theft. Some relatives think I was too harsh. She's family. You sent her to jail over social media posts. She cost me 3 jobs, real opportunities, real income. That's not just social media. Colleagues in marketing understood immediately. Your aunt created fake profiles to destroy your reputation? In our industry, that's career murder. The social media company representatives who testified at trial explained the scale. The defendant created sophisticated fake profiles that appeared legitimate. Platform users had no way to distinguish them from the victim's real accounts. My career is slowly recovering. I've had to rebuild my online presence, explicitly identify which accounts are legitimate, and explain the situation to professional contacts. Most understand, but some damage is permanent. Some employers who withdrew offers won't reconsider, despite the criminal conviction proving the profiles were fake. The stigma of having been associated with that content lingers. Do I regret pressing charges? No. Linda deliberately destroyed my professional reputation and shows no remorse. Do I feel guilty she went to jail? No. She spent months creating fake profiles to sabotage my career out of jealousy. Linda wrote from jail, "I hope you're happy. You destroyed your aunt's life over some social media accounts." I wrote back, "You destroyed my professional reputation with fake accounts posting content I never wrote. You faced legal consequences. I'm rebuilding my career. We're not equivalent." Some relatives say I should drop the restitution requirement. She can't afford it. She's in jail. She cost me real job opportunities. She owes restitution for that damage. The fake profiles are mostly down now, though new ones occasionally appear, violating Linda's court order. Each time, I report them, and her probation officer is notified. My online reputation is recovering, slowly. I've added verification to my real accounts, created a personal website explaining the identity theft, and work with a reputation management service. But the damage Linda caused will take years to fully repair. Some professional relationships are permanently damaged. Some opportunities are gone forever. All because she was jealous of my career success. That's not a prank. That's not harmless. That's deliberate sabotage with real consequences. Linda served her jail time, but she lost family relationships permanently. I'll never trust her again, and I'm okay with that. Some betrayals are too destructive to forgive. Creating fake social media profiles to destroy someone's professional reputation is one of them. My career survived, damaged, but recovering. Linda's relationship with me didn't. That's permanent. And that's fair. She chose to sabotage my career. I chose to protect myself through legal action. She made her choice. Now, she lives with the consequences. Just like I'm living with the consequences of her sabotage, rebuilding my reputation one professional contact at a time. My sister falsely reported me for child abuse to take custody of my adopted daughter. I discovered my sister filed a fabricated child abuse report with CPS claiming I was mistreating my adopted daughter because she wanted to adopt her herself and saw an opportunity to take her from me. I'm 30 years old. 2 years ago, I adopted my daughter Maya from foster care. Maya was 5 when she came to me. Now she's 7. She'd been through trauma in her early years, neglect, multiple placements, instability. Adopting her was the best decision of my life. My sister Claire is 33 and has been trying to adopt for years without success. Failed home studies, denied applications, issues with references. She's never understood why she keeps getting rejected while I was approved. The truth? Claire has control issues, unrealistic expectations, and concerning views about discipline. Social workers picked up on these red flags during her evaluations. Claire has always been jealous of my relationship with Maya. I should have adopted her. I wanted to adopt first. You stole my opportunity. I didn't steal anything. We both applied to be foster parents. I was approved. You weren't. Because you're younger and they're biased, I'd be a better mother. Last month, CPS showed up at my door. A caseworker explained they'd received a detailed report of child abuse, physical punishment, emotional manipulation, denying food, keeping Maya isolated from other children. None of it was true. Maya is healthy, happy, thriving in school, has friends, and I've never raised a hand to her. The caseworker could see immediately the allegations didn't match reality. My home was child-friendly, Maya was well-adjusted, and there were no signs of abuse. But CPS still had to investigate. Standard procedure for abuse reports. Maya was temporarily placed with emergency foster care pending the full investigation. 3 days that traumatized both of us. During those 3 days, Claire filed for emergency custody of Maya, using the CPS investigation as evidence I was unfit. When I got Maya back after CPS determined the report was unfounded, I discovered Claire had filed it. She'd fabricated everything to create a case for taking Maya from me. I pressed charges for filing a false report and attempted custodial interference. The evidence against Claire was overwhelming. The CPS report contained specific, detailed allegations, all provably false. Allegation 1. Mother uses corporal punishment, hitting child with objects. Child has bruises. Reality. Maya's medical exam during the investigation showed 0 bruises, 0 injuries, 0 evidence of physical abuse. Her pediatrician confirmed no history of concerning injuries. Allegation 2. Mother withholds food as punishment. Child is underweight and malnourished. Reality. Maya's medical records showed healthy weight in the 60th percentile, proper nutrition, no signs of food insecurity. School lunch staff confirmed she always had packed lunches. Allegation 3. Mother keeps child isolated, doesn't allow friends or social activities. Reality. Maya's teacher testified she was well socialized, had multiple friends, and participated in after-school programs. Her dance instructor confirmed regular attendance and positive peer interactions. Allegation 4. Child exhibits fear of mother, shows signs of emotional abuse. Reality. The forensic interviewer who spoke with Maya during the investigation reported, child shows secure attachment to adoptive mother, no signs of fear, age-appropriate emotional development. Every single allegation was fabricated, and Claire had filed for emergency custody within 24 hours of the CPS investigation beginning, before it was even determined whether the allegations had merit. Her custody petition stated, the child's current placement is under investigation for abuse. I am the child's aunt and a suitable alternative guardian. My lawyer exposed the conspiracy. The defendant filed a false abuse report, then immediately filed for custody using the investigation she created as justification. This is custodial interference through fraud. Text messages between Claire and her husband revealed the plan. Claire: I filed the CPS report. They'll investigate and probably remove Maya temporarily. Husband: and then what? Claire: then I file for emergency custody while she's in foster care. By the time the investigation proves nothing, I'll already have her. Husband: what if the investigation clears her sister? Claire: even if it does, the CPS investigation on record will help my custody case. She'll always be that parent who was investigated for abuse. She'd calculated that even a false, unfounded report would damage my reputation enough to support her custody claim. When I confronted Claire with the evidence, she showed no remorse. Maya should have been mine from the start. I wanted to adopt her first. So you filed false abuse allegations to take her from me. I created an opportunity to correct a mistake. You were approved to adopt when you shouldn't have been. I was approved because I passed the home study. You failed. Because the system is biased against older, experienced parents in favor of younger ones. You failed because you have unrealistic expectations and concerning views about discipline. And you've proven you can't handle a traumatized child without abusing her. The investigation found 0 evidence of abuse. Every allegation was false. The investigation was incomplete. I know what I know. Claire was charged with filing a false child abuse report, custodial interference, and fraud. The prosecutor emphasized the severity. The defendant fabricated detailed child abuse allegations to remove a child from her adoptive home, then attempted to gain custody during the fraudulent investigation she created. The trial revealed Claire's pattern of concerning behavior around Maya. She'd tried to convince Maya's school she was an authorized guardian. She wasn't. She'd shown up at Maya's dance class claiming to be picking her up without my permission. She'd told Maya's friend's parents that I was struggling, and she was helping out. She'd researched how to file abuse reports and what allegations were most likely to trigger removal. This wasn't impulsive. She'd been planning for months to take Maya from me. Child welfare experts testified, false abuse reports traumatize children and waste resources. This child was removed from a safe, loving home based on fabricated allegations. The trauma of that removal will require therapy. Maya's therapist confirmed, the 3 days in emergency foster care were traumatic for Maya. She thought she'd done something wrong. She feared losing her adoptive mother. This undid months of attachment work. The judge was scathing. The defendant filed false allegations of child abuse against her sister to steal her adopted daughter. She traumatized a child who'd already experienced significant trauma. This is unconscionable. Claire was convicted on all counts. She received 12 months in jail, probation, mandatory parenting education, ironic given she'll never be approved to adopt, and permanent prohibition from contact with Maya or me. Additionally, her false report was flagged in the adoption system. She's permanently barred from foster care or adoption. Family reactions split predictably. My parents understand. Claire filed false abuse allegations to steal Maya? That's criminal and cruel. But Claire's in-laws defend her. She just wanted to be a mother. Her methods were wrong, but her intentions were understandable. She traumatized my daughter with false abuse allegations. That's not wrong methods. That's malicious. Some relatives think I'm being harsh. She's your sister. Jail time destroys families. She tried to destroy my family by falsely accusing me of abusing my daughter. Maya asks about Aunt Claire sometimes. Why doesn't she visit anymore? Aunt Claire told lies about Mommy that got you taken away for a few days. She can't visit because she made unsafe choices. The time I went to the other house? Yes, baby. That happened because Aunt Claire lied. But we're safe now, and that won't happen again. The adoption community was horrified. Your sister filed false abuse allegations to steal your adopted child? That's every adoptive parent's nightmare. Friends with adopted children understand the unique trauma. Maya already had attachment disruptions. Being removed again, even temporarily, could have caused serious damage. Do I regret pressing charges? No. Claire traumatized my daughter with false allegations to steal her. Do I feel guilty she's in jail? No. She committed fraud and child endangerment. Claire wrote from jail. I would have been a good mother to Maya. You took that from me by getting approved first. I didn't respond. There's nothing to say to someone who thinks filing false abuse reports is justified by jealousy. Maya is in therapy, processing the trauma of the 3-day removal. She's asked several times if I'm going to send her away again. Never. You're my daughter forever. What happened wasn't your fault and won't happen again. Promise? Promise. Aunt Claire can't lie about us anymore. We're safe. The restraining order is permanent. Claire cannot contact Maya or me, cannot appear at her school or activities, cannot interfere with our lives. Claire destroyed any chance of having a relationship with Maya by trying to steal her through fraud. Some betrayals are permanent. Filing false child abuse allegations to steal someone's adopted daughter is one of them. Maya is safe. Our family is intact. Claire is facing consequences for her actions. That's justice. Not what I wanted. I wanted a sister who supported my adoption, but what Claire's actions earned. I'm okay with that. Maya's safety and well-being are worth more than a relationship with someone who would traumatize her to take her from me. We're healing, slowly, together. And Claire? She's learning that jealousy and false allegations have consequences. Permanent ones. My family sabotaged my medical school applications to keep me from moving away. I discovered my mother had been intercepting and destroying my medical school acceptance letters because she wanted me to stay local instead of pursuing opportunities across the country. I'm 22 years old, a senior in college with a 3.9 GPA. I've wanted to be a doctor since I was 10. I spent 4 years preparing for medical school, shadowing physicians, volunteering, research, perfect MCAT scores. I applied to 15 medical schools across the country, including top programs. My mother has always been controlling. You should stay close to home for medical school. There are local programs. I want to go to the best program that accepts me, wherever that is. Family is more important than prestige. Stay here where we can support you. I'm 22. I need to build my own life. Application season was stressful. I waited months for responses. Schools typically send acceptance letters between December and March. By April, I'd received only rejections. All 15 schools rejected me. I was devastated. My stats were excellent. My essays were strong. I'd interviewed well at multiple schools. How had every single one rejected me? Then a classmate mentioned, "Hey, I saw on the med school forum that you got into Hopkins. Congratulations." What? I never got an acceptance from Hopkins. They rejected me. No, someone posted a screenshot of the acceptance list. Your name is on it. I contacted Johns Hopkins Admissions directly. We sent your acceptance letter in January. You had until March 15th to respond. When you didn't, we gave your spot to a waitlisted applicant. I never received that letter. We sent it to the address on your application. We also sent a follow-up email. I checked. They'd sent it to my parents' house, my permanent address. I'd been living in a dorm but used my parents' address for official mail. I asked my mother directly, "Did any mail come from Johns Hopkins Medical School?" Long pause. "Yes." "Where is it?" "I threw it away. You weren't going to Baltimore. You're staying here." She'd intercepted my acceptance letter and thrown it away. I'd lost my spot at a top medical school because my mother decided I wasn't allowed to move away. I checked with other schools. 4 others had sent acceptances. My mother destroyed them all. The evidence was devastating. I contacted all 15 medical schools I'd applied to, requesting confirmation of their decisions. 5 had accepted me. Johns Hopkins. Acceptance sent January 12th. Deadline March 15. Stanford. Acceptance sent January 28th. Deadline March 20. University of Pennsylvania. Acceptance sent February 3rd. Deadline March 25th. Northwestern. Acceptance sent February 15th. Deadline April 1st. Columbia. Acceptance sent February 22nd. Deadline April 5th. All sent to my parents' address. All destroyed by my mother before I could see them. The schools confirmed they'd also sent follow-up emails to the address I provided, my mother's email that she'd set up for me in high school and still monitored. Email logs showed she'd deleted those too. Acceptances, scholarship offers, housing information, all deleted before I could see them. By the time I discovered this in late April, every deadline had passed. Every spot had been given to waitlisted students. I'd lost 5 acceptances to top medical schools because my mother intercepted and destroyed the letters. The rejection letters I had received? Those were the 10 schools that actually rejected me. My mother didn't need to hide those. They supported her narrative that I wasn't getting in anywhere and should just stay local. When I confronted her with evidence from the schools, she was unapologetic. "Those schools were too far away. You would have moved across the country. I did what I had to do to keep you close. You destroyed my medical school acceptances. I protected our family. You can apply to local programs. I got into Hopkins, Stanford. You threw away my future. Your future is here with family, not in Baltimore or California. That wasn't your decision to make. I'm your mother. It's exactly my decision. My father knew. Text messages revealed he'd supported it. Mom. Another acceptance letter came. Johns Hopkins. I'm throwing it out. Dad. Good. She needs to stay local. Mom. What if she finds out? Dad. She won't. The schools will think she declined. She'll assume she got rejected. They'd conspired together. Systematically destroyed every acceptance, deleted every email, prevented me from accessing the opportunities I'd worked 4 years to earn. I contacted the medical schools explaining what happened. Most were sympathetic but firm. We're sorry this happened, but we've filled your spot. You're welcome to reapply next cycle. Reapply. Start the entire process over. Wait another year. All because my mother decided I wasn't allowed to leave. One admissions dean was particularly understanding. This is parental sabotage. We see it occasionally, usually with controlling parents who can't let go. Have you considered legal action? I had. I consulted a lawyer who confirmed, your mother committed mail fraud and interference with educational opportunities. This is criminal. I pressed charges against both parents for mail fraud, federal crime, theft of correspondence, and interference with educational opportunities. I also sued civilly for damages, the lost year of medical education, lost scholarship opportunities, and emotional distress. The criminal case was straightforward. Federal mail fraud is serious. My mother admitted destroying postal mail addressed to me. The emails were harder to prove criminally, but the pattern supported the case. My parents' defense was parental authority. We were making decisions for our daughter's well-being. The prosecutor destroyed this. The victim is 22 years old. She's an adult. The defendants had no authority to destroy her postal mail or delete her emails. They committed federal crimes to control her life choices. Evidence included testimony from all 5 medical schools confirming they'd sent acceptances, postal tracking showing letters delivered to my parents' address, email server logs showing messages deleted from the account my mother controlled, text messages between my parents planning the interception, my academic records showing I was clearly qualified for these programs. Expert testimony explained the damage. The defendant destroyed acceptances to 5 top medical schools. The victim lost a year of medical education, lost scholarship opportunities totaling significant value, and suffered immense emotional distress. My college advisor testified. This student worked 4 years toward medical school. She had the credentials for top programs. Having those opportunities stolen by parental sabotage is devastating. The jury convicted my mother of mail fraud and interference. My father was convicted as an accessory. They received 8 months in federal prison each, probation, and were ordered to pay restitution for the lost year. The civil case resulted in additional damages for emotional distress and the cost of reapplying to medical schools. But nothing returned the lost year or the lost opportunities. Johns Hopkins, Stanford, Penn, Northwestern, Columbia, all gone because my mother threw away envelopes. Family reactions were predictable. My younger brother supports me. They sabotaged your future. They deserve prison. But extended family is divided. They were trying to keep you close. Their methods were wrong, but intentions were love. Love doesn't destroy someone's medical school acceptances. My grandmother defends them. Parents want their children nearby. You're being cruel sending them to prison. They committed federal crimes to control my life. That's not parenting. Friends from college were horrified. Your mother threw away your Hopkins acceptance? That's insane. The pre-med community understood the severity. Getting into top medical schools is incredibly difficult. Having those acceptances destroyed is career sabotage. I reapplied to medical schools this cycle, started the entire process over. New applications, new essays, new interviews, another year of waiting. Some schools remembered my case. Others required me to explain the gap year. Why didn't you attend medical school last year despite being accepted to multiple programs? My mother intercepted and destroyed the acceptance letters before I could see them. Some admissions committees were sympathetic. Others were skeptical. The whole process was humiliating. I did get accepted again, 3 schools this time. I'm attending one on the opposite coast from my parents. Do I regret pressing charges? No. They destroyed 5 medical school acceptances through federal crimes. Do I feel guilty they went to prison? No. They sabotaged my future to control my location. My mother wrote from prison, "I hope you're happy. You destroyed your parents over some letters." I wrote back, "You destroyed my medical school acceptances over your need to control me. You faced legal consequences. I'm rebuilding my future. We're not equivalent." Some relatives think I should reconcile after they're released. They've learned their lesson. Family should forgive. They haven't learned anything. They still think they had the right to destroy my acceptances. I'm moving across the country for medical school next month. My parents aren't invited to help me move or attend white coat ceremony. They tried to trap me locally by destroying my opportunities. They failed, but they cost me a year and 5 incredible programs. That's unforgivable. Some betrayals are too destructive. Throwing away someone's medical school acceptances to control their geographic location is one of them. They're in prison. I'm going to medical school. Just a year later than I should have been, and not at Hopkins or Stanford. But I'm going, despite their sabotage. And they've lost their daughter permanently. That's the price of trying to control an adult child through federal crimes. I'm okay with that price. My future is worth more than a relationship with people who would destroy it to keep me close. I'm finally free, finally pursuing my dreams, finally beyond their control. They tried to keep me close by destroying my opportunities. They ended up pushing me away forever. That's justice, and I'm okay with it.